Session. First item on tonight's agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Rayma, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm getting the right place here. So do we have, there you go, thank you.
It's in the town report book too, but it might be easier for you to read that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, our town report dedication person couldn't be here this evening. So we've let him, he's told us to go ahead without him, and we let him know he could watch this live or he would be able to see the recording. So I'm very thankful for the people who were able to come.
So am I reading this?
Well, usually, yes. I think
Okay.
usually we had a member of the family read it.
Yep.
So if you would read it, that would be great.
I would be honored. This year's dedication of the annual report is to Ron Preble. When asked about interviewing for an article for the Bristol Buzz, Ron's response was, "There are much more interesting people in town to interview." But we could not disagree more. Ron has held many titles in his lifetime. It was wonderful to listen to the stories and knowledge he has about Bristol and all the things that he does not recognize as accomplishments for which the town of Bristol has been graced with. Ron Preble has been a member of the community all his life. He was born and raised in Bristol, graduating in the third class from Bristol High School, now the middle school. His father worked for the highway department, and when he was 2 years old, the family moved into what is formerly known as the Preble House. The Preble House was located at Kelly Park, where the current maintenance shed stands. Ron's father, George Preble, took care of the team of horses used by the highway department and remained in the home until he passed. Ron has been married to his wife, Mary, for 63 years. They celebrate their 64th anniversary in May 2024 and have called Bristol home on Hillside Avenue. When asked what he feels he is most proud of, Ron points out the plaque and dedication in front of the Newfound Memorial Middle School. He said that the middle school property was originally part of Kelly Park, donated to the town, and when the school was looking to be built, they had to petition the legislature for a portion of the property. The property was dedicated to World War II veterans and all those who served in battles throughout the years, and the plaque that stands in front of the building is a testament to Ron's persistence. Ron has served on the budget committee twice at different times. He was a member of the Homeland Cemetery Association. He was a member of the Bristol Fire Department for 22 years and served as a fire department commissioner for 2 terms when the fire department was part of a precinct. Ron served as a cemetery trustee for 8 years. He worked at the Bristol transfer station part-time for several years. Ron was the VFW commander from 1991 to 2022. He led and organized more than 30 Memorial Day parades honoring veterans past and present for Bristol. At one point, Ron was a district commander for District 4, which consisted of 7 posts within the district. While serving for the VFW, Ron arranged with the town to collect the aluminum can recycling as a fundraiser that supported local initiatives, such as Bristol Community Services and Bristol Community Center, as well as the National Home for Children. Ron reports that the Bristol Post of the VFW dissolved in November 2023. Ron served as a member of the Bristol Lions Club for 10 years. He worked at the Veterans Cemetery part-time from 2005 to 2013. He would take any flags that were being disposed of by the town so they could be disposed of properly. When asked Ron says he has no special hobbies, but we think he did. His hobby was giving back and working in the community. It's hard to believe that Ron does not recognize the things that he has done, because we sure do here in the town. His efforts have not gone unnoticed. That is why the select board has chosen Ron Preble for this year's town report dedication. Just the 30 years of Memorial Day parades alone would be
Yes.
worthy. So very well done.
And when I talked, I did have to tell Ron, because he wasn't going to be able to make it, and I told him, and he's like, I wish you hadn't done that, there are so many more people out there, and I'm like, we're gonna agree to disagree. But,
Yeah.
we do have cupcakes for anybody in the audience, you're welcome to go to one, and there's water as well, so.
All right.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
And help yourself.
Yes.
Please. Nor, in the past, we've stopped and we've mingled, but, so you're welcome.
Not feel perfectly.
Okay, next item is the non-public and public meeting minutes of February 15th, 2024.
Excuse me. Make a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Les. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, abstentions, that is 4-0. Next item is the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda for 3/7/24. Accounts payable payment manifest dated 2/22/24. Accounts payable payment manifest dated 2/29/24. Accounts payable payment manifest dated 3/7/24. Payroll payment manifest dated 2/29/24. Distribution of funds from Recreation Patriotic Special Events for 2023 payment in the amount of $2,400. Distribution of funds request from the Recreation Patriotic Special Event, that's a special event for 2023
Yes.
payment in the amount of $388.12. Distribution of funds from the Special Events CTF for 2023 payment in the amount of $575. Distribution of funds from the Special Events CTF for 2023 payment in the amount of $150. Distribution of funds from Building Maintenance CRF for 2023 payment in the amount of $175. Transfer funds from the Sewer Department's operating fund to the town's general fund in the amount of $98,175.44. Transfer funds from the Water Department's operating fund to the town's general fund in the amount of $80,864.41. Veterans credit approval for map lot 114-066 in the amount of $500. Intent to excavate for map lot 225-005. Administrative abatement for map lot 220-015-126 in the amount of $63.04. Administrative abatement for map lot 220-015-092 in the amount of $217.15.
It's in your folder. I think it's 15 cents. It's a typo.
And appointment to office for Janet Cody as an alternate on the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term. Appointment to office for Kyle Sandler as a member of the Historic District Commission for a 3-year term. Appointment to office for Melody Mansur as a member on the Zoning Board for a 3-year term. Appointment to office for Larry Denton as a member on the Zoning Board for a 3-year term. Appointment of Richard Batchelder as a member of the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term. Appointment of David Shirley as a member on the Planning Board for a 3-year term. Appointment of Sean McGee as a member on the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term. And appointment of Carol Brown Jr. as a member on the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term.
It should be at the back, Sean, in the.
Second.
Oh, you're able to get that out.
So I just have two things to say after Sean confirms the amount.
Oops. Yep.
15 cents.
Okay, so you said it right, Les. Number 3, the accounts payable manifest, we weren't able to get to for tonight's meeting, so we'll have to take that off the consent agenda, but I will have that out to you for approval tomorrow if I can get 3 approvals so we can get the checks out. That would be great, so.
All right. We have a second.
And I forgot to tell
Yes,
Jeff
ma'am.
about transfer, sorry.
Second. Any discussion on any items?
On number 13, just the excavation.
It's an intent to excavate, so we have 1 property in the whole town, that does it. It should be, I think it's,
Similar to a timber harvest, you have to
Well,
file a.
Right, well, I was just looking for where.
Oh,
so there's 2. That one I think is more, is Mr. Morrison's, 225.5, if I remember correctly. The other one is normally Gilpatrick's. But does it say the name on it, Sean?
So it's something they have to renew, yeah?
Every year, they have to fill them
yeah,
out.
oh, yeah.
Yep, so every year they fill them out and you won't probably ever see a bill because 1,000 cubic feet or less is exempt. If they go over, then you'll see a bill, so.
All right. Any further questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Abstentions? That is 4-0. What do we have for special recognition?
So that's a surprise.
More cupcakes.
What a place. So we,
Christina.
hey, way to throw me under the bus.
No, we wanted to be grateful to you.
I do try to do some, I know, I have to get evaluated, you could change it tonight. We do try to do something every year when someone leaves a little bit. This year we thought of, and we hope you'll laugh. We thought of a little slideshow,
Oh,
and we have a
God.
little gift for you. So, I just have to get the slideshow.
I like the part where she says, "We hope you'll laugh."
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Is there a tree in there?
Okay.
Way off in the distance.
So,
There's no trees.
so Sean, thank you.
That's it?
I'm like,
Take it in Bristol, the redwoods.
I thought that when
Yeah.
it was actually a template, and I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect.
Yeah.
So, I did not have a lot of pictures of Sean, but I found this one, Rick
Yep.
giving Sean a thank you for the community events group. This is when the police chief was appointed.
Yep. Oh, God. You went on my Facebook.
Is that a Pokemon?
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing that one.
Batty took that. That was, the Pokemon was, when my daughter was getting her driver's license. We would drop her off and we would go down to Meredith and just sit by the water and have dinner.
And there was
That would-
Pokemon?
No, but she was
would play the
doing the
game, yeah.
Pokemon Go, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean
Oh, look
actually
at you.
made a timber crier. He's in the background.
I actually made several timber cryers. That's the one. Yeah. But that one's is special to me because we had sourced the gentleman on the left in that picture was Eric Johnson, and he was just in his early stages of ALS,
Oh.
and we had actually those came from Slim Baker.
Oh, neat.
Nice.
When we did the Slim Baker harvest, and we sourced those timbers to make a covered bridge wheelchair access into his home.
Oh, that is
Oh,
so cool.
that was nice, yeah.
Was he
And-
local?
He taught at Proctor for a while, and he lived in Andover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That is, yep.
Wow. Yeah.
That's in
That was
Montreal.
from- oh,
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. Enjoy the trees.
Thank you very much. Very sweet.
So actually, there is something over by Les that's for you. It's that right in front of your desk.
So,
I was wondering what the hell was.
I hadn't even noticed it.
So the pins were supposed to can be used for what's inside the.
Oh.
So this is why
that's
we
nice.
this is why we couldn't find your plaque.
Yeah.
You'll need that back when you come back.
When you
Yeah.
come back.
God, it's so
Do it.
cool. Nice.
Come on, we gotta do this right.
So yes, we thought it was nice to give you your stamp and your
Yes.
plaque. So when you come back,
I'm gonna use that stamp. I'm gonna take that out of there.
we just found JP's
Yeah.
too.
Well, I'm really on it. I really
love the sight of your tag.
Sign here. That's great. That's great. Thank you all. That means a lot to me. It really does.
You have to bring it back when you do your next round.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, because too cheap to do a new one.
Yeah, you're not getting another one the next time.
Yeah.
Hold on to that.
break in case of emergency.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, we thought that we wanted to do something for your.
I was like looking down through the list. I'm like, where's the supporting documentation for this
I hid it in the other folder.
recognition? Yeah. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. This is the last 3 years. It can often be trying and tiring, but it actually has been a real pleasure the last 3 years to work with the 3 boards and to see where the town is headed. I'm proud to be a part of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be calling when you're free.
See you Saturday.
Sean, what do you think of this?
Yeah, still have town meetings, so I still have a chance to get yelled at.
Again, if anyone wants a cupcake, help yourself.
I'm gonna grab one in a minute, so, all right,
You can pass one.
please, so get the tension off of me. Come on up, Raymond. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take a cupcake, Joe.
Yeah, don't forget the cupcakes.
For your, especially if it's your wife's birthday.
Yeah, take
Will you?
We'll see ya.
Good night.
Bye.
So, election prep.
Yes, election prep.
Oh, we have to be there for that?
I know. So it's Tuesday.
I mean, it's only the town one, so there's only gonna be about, what, 400?
Probably.
So you don't need everybody.
Yes,
Yeah, just.
that's part of your job, is all
Yes, ma'am.
selectmen
I have
have to
one,
be
yeah.
there. All 5. So are you all 5 gonna be there? I know
Yes.
Carol is, because he's volunteering right now. Like, he's gonna be there from 8 to 8.
He
Wow.
should be here soon. But
Okay, I'll be
I'm
there.
saying since he's not here.
Let's text him and tell him.
I'll be there all day. I have my usual conference call at 12, so I'll
Yeah.
skip out for lunch, but I'll be there.
And I
all
think
day.
Carol will be there.
Yeah.
All of
should
the
be
rest of
here
you gonna
soon.
be there?
I will be in and out. I have my basement being torn up on Tuesday, so I won't be there first thing. And then, it's gonna be depending on how that goes.
Okay.
Why are you
But
looking
I'll
at
definitely,
John?
what's that?
No, I was talking to Scott.
What?
Why are you looking at John?
I'm just waiting, so what's the requirement to have?
I have to have at least 3 there
Okay.
at all
So
times.
I was gonna play it by ear just because I didn't set my schedule yet. But I will be there at some point during the day. I just gotta decide, find out. If we have 3, then I'll go a little bit later. If I'm needed, I'll go.
My plan is to get them started in the morning, come down, and then my wife's gonna have to leave for a few hours in the afternoon. I'll go back for that, and then I'll come back, so.
Okay.
But I do have to be there within the.
And you'll be there all
I'll be
day.
there all day. I'm a glutton for
I
punch.
can be there all day. I do have to leave to feed my dogs at some point, but I'll schedule it around.
Well, I have to leave at 3:30 and I should be back by 6 or 6:30.
Well, that's
Have a
nice.
doctor's appointment, but I can't.
She's
I'll go.
awesome.
So we've got that done. Are we gonna have a
Wait.
little pickup truck?
Yep, I just want to touch base on a couple other election
Yep.
prep with Will Weymouth here. I posted this, I'm not done yet, but shuttle service will be available. I fixed the wording. I just did it really quick because I hadn't gotten it done, so.
Yep.
Shuttle service, which is the same vehicle. I'm soliciting for volunteers, haven't gotten any yet, but I know I will, to help shuttle for voting. The other, and I've advertised the handicap parking is available at the historic town hall. It's limited, but they can pull up in there and park, if they want to. The thing that I need to talk to you about is a detour. When we met at the department head meeting this week, we talked about police coverage for the end of School Street because it's a very tight bet. You can't get vehicles in and out two-way. People forget it's a two-way. So one of the solutions that they came up with was to detour traffic coming down School Street to go up Winter Street and exit off of Spruce. And then the few vehicles coming out of this parking lot would have to go the same way. You'd have to have signage, so people could come onto School Street to come into the parking lot without having to face traffic because it'll be diverted up. So if you agree to that, Mark can put signs up for detour, and we can get signs at the end of the parking lot for the detour as well.
Yeah, and it's also Christmas, I really we should talk about, but
I forgot.
be important to have police presence out there immediately, like before the polls open, because that was a mess.
So I did tell him that we wanted police present at the end of School Street, when, especially during school.
Yeah.
But if they're diverted up, it may not be quite as bad, but we should.
Not just that, but I'm talking about people crossing the road.
Yeah,
And I talked to Chris about that today too. I said, you know, it's, nice to have the police inside, but I think they need to be outside more than they need to be inside. You know, if it's cold or whatever, I know they gotta come in and.
Sure.
But I just think, I told them I thought they need to be outside more.
and we'll be doing the shuttle, so it would be easier for us to get in and out with the vehicle.
So, right, if we're the shuttle, we're still gonna follow the same traffic flow, correct?
I would have to ask that.
Yeah,
I would think we would,
it only takes a second walk.
yeah, to go around and come in, and then,
It makes it easier to turn into the town park, the building parking lot anyway,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
so I will get that added too, that the School Street will be a detour, onto the information page, but I think I'm gonna also put it onto the news items, at the beginning, just because I think it'll draw attention, and we'll have Kate put it onto Facebook as well, so.
Did anyone talk to you about putting numbers together regarding the warrant article and what that costs?
Yeah, but I was gonna get to that after I did election day.
Please.
One thing for election day, as we all know, Barbara used to supply all the food, which is wonderful because it keeps all of us there, and it was wonderful of her. Well, since that's not happening anymore, I'm gonna supply coffee and donuts and some chips and dip. Cheryl's gonna supply cheese and crackers. Ned is going to supply sandwiches at lunchtime.
Okay.
So my question to you, selectmen people, is there any way you could maybe put it into your budget or something, or however you want to do it, to buy pizzas at night for the workers?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have the, we can talk about the town credit card too.
Yeah.
Your name's on it.
No.
I have one, but, so we have the credit card, so we can certainly do that, and we can order pizzas,
Yeah.
and we can pick them up.
And Nancy Gavalis called, because I told all the girls that I would let them know what we were doing for lunch and dinner. So Nancy called them today, and she's also said to them, if you want to bring some kind of a snack or a dessert or something, that would be wonderful. If you don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So,
How many pizzas do you think,
6.
well, there's probably 17 or 18 people.
we
Well, we had two tonight.
only have
figure,
2
but-
tonight for 6 of us, because Carol's not here yet, but.
I'd say 6.
6 large pizzas.
That's what I was thinking.
There might be food left over from lunch anyways. There was last election, there was food, a ton of food.
We had a lot of food. She brought a ton of food, but you know, nobody's bringing any now, so that's why
Yeah.
try to do this. And last night we tested the ballots. The spare memory card wasn't working. I got a hold of LHS today and got that all straightened out, did another test and all that, so machine should be all set.
Okay.
So for town meeting, it's my first one I'm gonna miss in probably 40 or 50 years. And this one's most important to me, between the voting machine, the counting machine and the parsonage. I really wanted to be there, but I've written this up. Cheryl's gonna read it for me. I can, read it to you now, tell you what she's gonna say for me, or
Yep.
would you like that?
Yes.
Okay. First, I'd like to say that I'm sorry I'm not here for this meeting. It is the first one I've missed in years, and this article is very important to me. But this trip was planned more than a year ago. I'd like to tell you that we don't spend $13,000 a year on the machine. The yearly cost for maintenance on the counting machine is $400, and I've listed the line item. And then I said line item 610 has nothing to do with the machine. These are for printing ballots, purchasing booths if necessary, lights for the booths, safety chains, pens, things that are needed to run an election and town meeting. This line is more this year as we are having 4 elections plus town meeting. These are things for an election, whether we have a counting machine or not. Line 810 is for new equipment for the office, which may have to include a new counting machine, as ours is the older machine and they don't make parts for it any longer. I would like to explain a little bit about the machine. It is only a counting machine. It is not hooked up to the internet or anything that could hack into it. When Ned and I test the ballots, the machine is brought from storage, where it has been kept locked behind a double locked door. Only myself and my deputy have access to it. When the machine is brought out, it has a secure tab on the outside that needs to be cut off, and the number on the tab needs to match the tab number that was put on it when we placed it in storage. There is a form that needs to be filled out each time, and the form needs to be signed by 2 people, indicating that the tab is the same. After this, we need to remove the tab that has secured the memory card. Even though it has been empty, the slot needs to be secured. And the same thing goes for that tab with the 2 signatures and making sure the tab number is the same. We get 2 memory cards to test. 1 memory card used at the polls and a test one. We test both memory cards to make sure they come out to the number of test ballots that have been cast. When that matches, the test tapes are kept by me, and then the tab goes back on the memory card slot, again with that number written down and signed by 2 people. Then the machine goes into the storage bag, and another tab goes on the outside that's signed by 2 people. The bag is placed back in the storage room, which is always locked. The bag does not come out again until the morning of voting. The tab is cut off, the machine is placed in the box that the ballots go in when counting. Ned does another tape to show that it's starting off in zeros. The tape is placed on the wall for the public to see. After voting, the process of sealing it starts up all over again. If we don't have the machine, I need to have at least 12 counting teams to try to finish counting before 2 or 3 a.m. If the teams don't volunteer, we will need to pay them, and I would think it will be approximately $2,000 to pay the teams. Also, some of us come in at 7 a.m. and we'd be working until 2 to 4 a.m. to get everything completed and sent out to the media and the state. I hope you vote this petition down, as it will not be beneficial to go back to hand counting for the elections.
Carol's just going by exit 22.
He's what?
Just going by exit 22.
Okay. Thank you. That's very good.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I I think that's it for elections. The only other thing I just wanted to tell you is that, I sent out on February 21st, I sent out delinquent notices. And of those delinquent notices, it was, I think I have it in here, I wanted to have it in here. It was $417,000 or something like that. And since we've sent those out, I have received back already $122,608 just from the delinquent notices.
That's on the most recent bill?
Billing.
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll be sending liens later, but I just want to let you know that delinquent notices did bring in. So, and we're still getting them, they've got until April 3rd to pay their delinquent.
Okay.
And then it goes. And then the other thing I just want to mention quick is we sent to the researcher 17 people that could get deeded, but deeding won't take place until May.
Right.
But once we send out those, we'll hear back from most of them.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right.
We usually do, so I'm sure we will. I think that's it.
I have one thing to add.
Yep.
You mentioned you had 2 important articles. Would you like to talk about the second article that you're gonna be missing on at town meeting?
For the record?
For the record?
The parsonage?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's what you referred to.
Yes,
That's
I
what-
did.
Okay.
Yes, and I've been a member of the Baptist Church basically my whole life. Don't attend, let's keep that quiet. But I think it's a great thing to take the parsonage down. The church will probably take it down, and I don't know how they're gonna do it piece by piece maybe, because I don't think they really have any money. And like I said, I haven't been active in the church for a long time now. But I think they will probably try to take it down one way or another. And, you know, I did hear someone say yesterday, I think that's the worst thing you can do is take down the parsonage. And I said, why? You don't get taxes for it, you don't get anything for it. And, you know, it's gonna, eventually, if it doesn't come down, it's gonna fall down someday, because hasn't been in great shape for years. So I hope that goes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. Christina?
I just wanted to add, we did repair, they were repairing, I believe they finished the repair. If they didn't, it will be repaired before voting. The railing on the ramp, it won't be painted, but they did, Trevor did fix that, so.
Great.
All right.
And I think that covered it. The only thing we're gonna do is check the oil tomorrow, because we did open it back up for candidates forum, which was this past weekend. And the recording, by the way, is on the website.
I did watch it.
Yep, if anybody wants to watch it, it's on the website. We would check the oil tomorrow just to make sure if we need a delivery before Tuesday. So.
And I think the highway department has it all set up. I think they set it up yesterday.
Did they come get chairs? Because we took all your chairs back, I thought.
I don't know. Nobody said anything to me, so
Yeah, we took the
Maybe I'll
chairs
try
back
to
because
go.
we had the all committees meeting, so I think that's why we took them back,
okay.
but we should just double check with you because you may need some chairs. So
Yes. So I'll try to go up and check.
that's all.
Anything else for Raymond?
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. I'll see you all Tuesday, and I will take a cupcake.
I just, never mind, we should post the ballots on the website too.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to seal the non-public minutes indefinitely from March 7th, 2024. Because it is determined that divulgence of the information likely would affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Aye.
Yeah. It's 4-0. Thank you.
Oh, I keep thinking we're doing a roll call.
It says, it says that you're supposed to do a roll call. That's why I was
No.
waiting.
Oh, for
It
seeing.
says it right there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Roll
know
call vote. Scott?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Aye from me. Les? Aye. That's 4-0. Thank you. Hazard mitigation plan update.
Ben's here, also for this. You've seen this report before, nothing has changed since you've seen it. The hazard, I posted it on the website so that people could take a look at it. It's been approved by FEMA.
Yep.
Pending the adoption of the board. So that's in your packets, but it's on the website, and actually I forgot, sorry, Rob and Scott probably have not seen this.
I've
before.
seen it, yeah.
Okay. So again, the plan hasn't changed since when we brought it, but it's been sitting at FEMA to be approved for 6 months now, at least.
Make a motion to approve the hazard mitigation plan?
So, sorry, there's 2 forms in there. There's one that's a certificate of adoption that has to be voted on. And then there is a form that is the resolution approving the hazard mitigation plan update as a community wildfire protection plan. So both those things have to be, and they only have
2
to
motions.
share. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the hazard mitigation plan to start.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Scott. Any further discussion? Okay, you wanna name me or?
So on the next one, he would name.
The next one,
this
okay.
one.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, abstentions, that is 0.
Make a motion to approve the community wildfire protection plan, does that cover it?
And to authorize the chair to sign.
And to authorize the chair to sign it.
And seconded by Les. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, abstention. We're good. 4-0.
This one's for Sean.
Sign the right spot.
Need my stamp.
Just making sure. I give my wife here.
The second part of, sorry. The second part, for the Jeep is under, let me open it up, change orders. Number 7, this is, we've already discussed this change order in the past. Chief gave you a heads up that it was coming, but I'll let him explain a little bit more about it.
Yep.
And it's a little different than a regular change order, so it's actually not, if we called it a change order, it's not a change order, it's gonna be a purchase order. We're not doing this through Brewing,
Okay.
because the chief has done all the work on this.
All right.
So yeah, I've kind of hit it before, but lockers was one of the things that was taken out of the original budget to make the budget work. So there's obviously a list of those things. Lockers, when I went back to Gruen and said, hey, what was there, so that I can start pricing these things out and make sure that we're on the same page and we understand how much money we need to find or raise. They said, well, they were just like 12 by 12, kind of like school lockers. If anybody's been in one of the bathrooms at the fire station, that's what we have now. They're not really functional for regular staff lockers, obviously hanging PD Class B shirts or fire department Class B or C shirts. You need at least 21 inches of depth, and you're talking, for pretty much all of our full-time staff, a couple days worth of uniforms are usually stored in your locker, and that doesn't work in something that you can barely fit your textbooks in. So we started out looking at the lockers that were kind of described to us by the architect, even though I knew those were probably not reasonable. They're north of $1,000 in the $1,500 a piece range. They look really nice, but that's a lot of money. So you can, for metal lockers that meet the needs, right? Some type of foot locker area, a top shelf and a coat rack or coat bar. You can find them online in the $600 range down to just below $500. Concord Fire recently worked with this company to do at least the Manor station, if not a couple stations. the price, I was like, what'd you buy, like 4 lockers? I know, I got like 20 in each station. So I contacted them directly. It works out to roughly $294 a piece. They're custom made, they're made to order, they're full 24 by 24 like was designed in the plan, so they'll actually fit right and not cause any issues. And then this $16,789 number gets all the staff lockers purchased instead of saying, okay, well, we could make do with only 30 as opposed to 37, and we can make do with 6 as opposed to 11 in the women's locker room. We just get them installed, and it's done for really a fraction of the price that anybody else is going to be able to do it at. So again, as I talked about at the last meeting, this had been previously recommended by the Public Safety Building Committee. And it was just one of those, we needed to kind of clarify the quote, clarify some of the information on the interest available. But it's the right time to do it to make sure that they're here at roughly that same time frame that we're going to occupy the building. So it's just part of the move-in process at that point.
Does this include installation?
It does not. So they're single units. They basically are self-standing. We move them from the bay one at a time and
then
put them in.
tie them together or whatever?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you bring the purchase order with you?
It might even be the right one.
I was gonna say, grab the right folder.
4742? Yep. So you can either vote to Sean assign it or me assign it, it's up to you how you do that.
We'll stick it to you. He's checked out. Is that what you told you?
He's moved on.
Short time?
I've been able to tell a couple of people this week that they'll have to take it up with the next one.
Does that feel good?
It does.
I'll make a motion to approve purchase order 4742 for the purchase of lockers for the new public safety building in the amount of $16,789.25, and have the town administrator sign.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Abstentions? Great.
Nice job shopping around for those.
Yeah, that's great. Well, while Chief's here, we're hoping that we can just touch base on one more thing.
Yep. Are we?
That's yours. These are mine. It is under, I'm not gonna pull it up on the screen, but if you look under number 7 SBZ, I think it says. I can't, it's behind my,
Yeah, it's the second number 7.
yeah, SBZ. So it wasn't in your packets either, unfortunately. This email came in today from the town's attorney. Ben had asked me to look into, let Ben explain it a little bit more about, well, I can go, I can. But Ben had asked me to look into, because in the former 230 Lake Street property, there was a plaque, and the plaque, we don't know exactly what it said. The good news is the plaque still exists. It's in storage in a blue box somewhere, is what I was told today from Chris Bean. So they did keep the plaque. The plaque was part of a Charles Mason trust. A certain amount of money was donated to the town quite a long time ago with the intent for an opera house, correct?
Yeah, a town meeting, a town office, and opera house.
Combination.
Nice.
So the town at the time went to court and asked the court to take the money to build the then 230 Lake Street
Addition.
addition, yes.
So to clarify, not the addition, the actual
original
building.
Yeah.
That trust was from 1900
Yeah.
when Mr. Mason passed. I don't know exactly what the number was at the time, but when it was utilized in 64 or 65, it was roughly $76,000. The town had been I did a bunch of other research. The town had been trying to figure out a way to fund the town office building. They had some ideas, they got some prices, and when we can't afford that, one of the trustees who was part of some other stuff in town said, well, this is still here, let's figure out how to dispose of it. Some of the stuff in the will in particular was concerning to me because I find it weird that the town would say, oh, okay, we're gonna accept this money to build a townhouse or whatever you wanna call it, that will be forever available. That was in the will specifically when the court came back in late in '64 with their response to allow them to use the money. They kind of changed that word to always. And so my kind of question that I posed to Christina that I think we needed an answer to was, is always always, or does always exist with the building that now doesn't exist?
Right.
And Attorney Fillmore's position is that
Always is always.
probably always is always. You could petition. Her opinion is she doesn't find that it would be it'd be a slim chance, whatever the wording was she used, to get it to change, and that provided we took a plaque or something and moved it into a space, like this room,
We have another idea.
and whatnot. So, I think historically this has come up a couple of different times during conversations. I don't know that anybody's ever really capitalized on that ability. But certainly if we have to have it, then we have to have it. There's a selectman still alive that was alive during that, so he had his opinions on it, or let it be, but better to kind of have looked into it.
Yeah.
If that's the opinion, and especially if we still have the plaque, which was a pretty nice plaque, then we should just get it rehung in a location that can be utilized for that.
And her email does also say, I just reread it again, but either it could be, it doesn't need to be the public safety building, even though that's the property. But it could be the current town office building, and then she added, or perhaps the old town hall. Didn't read that before when I mentioned it. So my thoughts would be the old town hall would be the better spot because it does have the stage, it does have music usually. It could be open for the public to use for music as well. So, and we could put that plaque, the L chip is on one side, we could certainly put the plaque on the other side, or.
And it would certainly go with the spirit of the building.
Right. Well, and the other option was this room, but that would be up to the board, which you prefer.
Put it in Ben's office.
What?
Put it in Ben's office.
Well, we could open his office, that means I could go play music there anytime I want.
No, not anytime we want, when
When
being used for
It's
town business or
You're
whatever.
going to tell me it's always
It
being
is
used for
always
town business.
I think we need to have a discussion about something else before we make a decision on this.
Yeah.
So that was later on the agenda.
Yeah.
I did, if you want me to skip ahead, I can pull up the, in your folders actually,
No, let's table this
and
conversation
have it later.
and we'll do it together and we'll get on with.
You don't have to stay for that.
No.
Unless you want.
Unless you want it on your office.
You might.
I need some cupcakes.
Oh, okay. Open those cupcakes. I do think we should also deliver those to.
I was thinking to Prebles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So I think Carol probably wanted to be here for part of this discussion tonight, on the energy committee, but I'm not sure where he is. If he should be here any minute, but I think we could certainly begin.
Yeah. Yep. Well.
The hot seat?
Yep. Always.
There are three things in there. Well, actually, looks like there are four. Paula, if we could just start real quick with I sent you all of the article for the Buzz. I did get feedback from one, but I just wanted to double check and make sure everybody else was okay with that. It's in number 8 SB article for the Buzz. I gave a copy back to Paul, and Kate's got it ready to go if you're good with it. And I just want to make sure that you didn't have any other changes that you wanted us to do.
No, I thought it was well done and appreciated the change as well.
And the only thing, Paul, I took out too was, because I knew we weren't sure yet on the co-op, the New Hampshire Electric Co-op, so I removed them from it.
Yeah,
Until we knew more about it.
that's
So-
right. Yeah, the plan on the electric co-op is to let them opt in, so that's the current plan. So co-op can opt in, it won't be an automatic opt-in.
Yeah.
They still have the opportunity to join individually.
Okay, and then,
There are two things on the energy policy. I thought you'd wanna have that conversation, first.
Yeah.
It's, or the aggregate plan, that's the draft, we can talk to either one of them, but, so I just took from the first plan that, Paul gave us what the Bristol energy policy goals were, but Paul also sent an email, which is in your folders as well, which was, talking about creating a standalone policy, and this was the goals of the committee, as the energy committee felt it was, so. So either, I think they're almost very similar, but,
yeah, can you go back to the email?
yep,
Can you,
make it bigger,
yeah.
is that, hang on.
Yep, that's
Hang
good.
all the way again, just because it won't let me close, I can if I close it, so. So, just to reiterate why,
Yep.
so we do have to have some type of we have to give the energy committee some guidance on an energy policy, and the board should be the ones to help set that policy, and these are what Paul's recommendations are for that policy. Especially going into town meeting, where we're gonna talk about community power,
Correct.
this would be good for us to have set something.
It's a little dated. I did go by the one, the Indeck biomass facility.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
I did tour that facility. It was a problem. You know, it had issues. Are you familiar with it?
Of course. It was a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Problem with it, and it had been vacant, it had been static for almost 20 years, something like that.
Which one's that?
It's in Alexandria.
Oh, yeah.
And when I toured it, you know, I was fortunate to get one of the people who operated it to show it to us. His name was Strong. His last name was Strong. And I knew his father, went to school with him. And he said operationally there was an issue with that plant that they struggled with. And I did talk to those people who owned it. They were trying to dump it.
They were, it's my opinion, they really, say something not obscene, but they really messed up because the interconnect there, they messed up on refiling some paperwork, and the interconnect to the grid there was worth a lot of money. Was worth more than the property, right? And as it ended up being like a fire sale, they tore the building down, and Dyer's gonna make a mess of it.
It's supposedly gonna be a scrapyard.
Yeah. Hey, Carol.
Hello.
So we're just starting on the energy policy, Carol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The others there are fairly obvious.
I guess my question is, as a town of Bristol, what influence and or how do we accomplish bringing these folks in to a conversation? Is that our goal, to bring them into a conversation when they operate outside of our sphere of influence, I guess.
It's a fair question. I'll give you a couple ideas. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had some conversations in prior years with the people who own the current hydro dam, for example. The hydro dam is 8 megawatts. It's really kind of an interesting situation. We have 2 hydro dams here. The bigger one is 8 and the little one is about 2. The town has entertained historically the purchase of the smaller one, but decided not to do it at some point. So there's been this kind of interest. And I think that the idea would be to have some kind of agreement, if possible, with at least the bigger plant that would allow, I'll give you an example, in the case of a major outage, the power plant, the hydro plant to power the wastewater treatment facility and its building so that we'd have a place for people to go in case of emergency. By the way, we can still have water and flush your toilets too. So that's kind of an example. It would be an economic, I think, arrangement. There really, and you would have to run a cable, you know, and there would be some technology involved in that.
The last I knew, you could, those facilities are unable to have specific purchase orders with specific businesses. The last I knew, you couldn't run a line across the property line without being considered a regulated utility.
There are regulations that may prevent it from happening, for sure. But things are evolving, things are changing. I know they've done this in other communities. Fort Collins, Colorado has done it. Some of the towns in near Long Island, because of the Sandy Hook situation, have done it. They are essentially microgrids.
Yeah, and the problem is that New Hampshire doesn't allow for that.
That's right. I mean,
Because that's been a conversation around the biomass facilities for years. Like, why can't, when INDEC was up and running, why can't they have an agreement with Freudenberg
exactly.
to provide power directly?
Yes.
The answer is they can't. It's not allowed under New Hampshire law
Right.
because those laws are written by the utilities.
That's right.
Wait a minute.
So some of these things.
In my last meeting, I'm going to go on with that.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think these are goals. I think these are things that you continue to keep an eye on and try to steer the town in a position of advantage if you can. You know, from a resiliency point of view, primarily.
If we could change that, I'd be all in, because it makes perfect sense to be able to, even if they have to charge a. Problem is that the power from any of these facilities goes onto the grid, as you know, and gets, like the cloud, it's just out there.
That's right.
And then it comes back when you need it. And to do that, you're getting charged generation, you're getting charged distribution,
Transmission.
you're getting charged stranded costs.
That's right.
You're getting charged all the taxes. And
Even though the electrons went from there right to here. You know
Exactly.
They went right. The physics doesn't match the legislation.
exactly right. So that is a long-term problem in
It
New
is.
Hampshire.
It is.
Yeah.
So, but the idea of it is not out of the realm of reason, and I think you keep your eye on it and try to do the best you can to try to get in position through changing laws, changing rules, or economic agreements that you can, another simple one is an economic agreement that you could have, like a power purchase agreement with the hydro plant that says, we get preferred rates for some reason or another. I mean, these are ideas that are more popular now, and I think will become even more popular later. And that could play into the community power situation as well. I did go so far as to, in pursuit of this, to talk to a consulting company that does microgrids, and we stared at the town of Bristol, and we are unique here in a few different ways. We have 2 hydro dams,
Right.
and we have a biomass plant that's not that far away. So the other thing about it is that our circuitry here in our town is pretty compact.
our town offices are fairly close together, our fire is fairly close together, and so from a wiring point of view, we lend ourselves very nicely to this idea of the microgrid. Can we get there? Not without some study and without some money and without some effort. But the reason that it's there is to keep it in mind, to try to stare at that and to try to slowly steer in that direction. That's why it's there.
So under Bristol Energy Policy Goals,
The other sheet. right?
yep, thank you. The very first one, provide energy cost savings for Bristol residents. And I think that's the idea behind community power.
That's right.
Certainly, I don't think anyone could argue with that. Encourage local renewable power generation. I think there might be some questions about, is the town in the business of encouraging local renewable power generation? Although I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
I mean, that's a reasonable statement.
No.
Yeah.
And we have an example at the wastewater treatment facility of offset our own costs.
True.
With the array there, and that's being successful. That's working in our favor.
Next item is improve electrical power resiliency for Bristol residents. I'm not sure that I understand that community power does that.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't. The resiliency term is more, or point is more related to the microgrid idea and the longer term goal of.
Yeah.
Right now, Sean, our strategy is to run generators. You know, if we ever ran into a situation where the grid went down, our only plan is generators.
Right.
And generators, as you know, suffer from their own issues, not the least of which is they have to run at the same speed no matter what the load,
Yeah.
and they burn fuel quickly. They
Yeah.
go through fuel quickly because of that. So in case you don't know, your generator doesn't go up and down based on load. It stays where it is
Yeah.
at RPM because it has to match frequency, and then the load is independent of it unless you overload it, and then it kicks out. So my experience with generators is, you know, not good with respect to resiliency, long-term resiliency, even big
It's a
data
short
centers.
term. It's a short term.
It's a short term.
Yeah.
So if we're down for a period of time, you know, and remember, if the grid's down, then getting fuel to these things is going to be difficult too.
Yeah.
So I worry about resiliency from the town's point of view, you know, because we don't have an emergency plan that considers this, and so it's there to keep that on the table, to keep trying to think about how do we solve that problem.
So,
Sorry, I was gonna say, could you add the word improve opportunities?
You could wordsmith it for sure.
Would that be a little bit, I mean, I don't know if that's.
I think it's fine. I'm just asking, you know, how.
What's behind it?
Right.
Right, and not every one of these has to do with community power. This is our overall
That's right.
energy policy goals.
That's right.
Next is, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No.
I'll go through it.
Okay,
Expand choices for renewable and other innovations.
and I think the key word is choices.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, expand choices. That community power is part of that. Community power came after these were written, but certainly is
Yeah.
consistent with some of these. Time of use and local energy storage are two that I'm hoping that community power will help us achieve. Time varying rates is going to be important for a variety of reasons. That's simply cheaper electricity at night is the sort of idea behind that. We've had that before in certain communities in Hampshire, but it's not very consistent. We don't have it now.
Regional collaboration.
Regional collaboration, yeah, other communities to cost-effective energy solutions. So that's just a point.
That sounds like community power to me a little bit.
It is,
Yeah.
it is. And it's also, I've been participating with other communities. I was on a call today with, we have a monthly call now with other energy committees from other towns to compare notes, simply communicate who's doing solar.
Yeah.
For example, there's a big solar array that we're going to be talking about in this town, right? Are you familiar with this?
They canceled their appointment.
They did.
So so I haven't said, because I don't have a lot of information about it, I haven't said anything yet, but it was, the
No,
near there though, one of the properties over there.
Where is this?
they approached them. It's good. So it'd be the Sugar Hill Ridge must be if it's near if it's near that
Yeah.
property.
Piece, yeah.
They were supposed to come in and I was supposed to.
I know they've been sending letters.
They
For
were.
solar?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fairly large solar array that they're talking
Yeah.
about putting in there. And I wanna talk to the town about it.
Trying to think where the access would be to that.
Well, it does intersect, the main road here. That property does come down. It's right
It
next to.
was,
There's a, no,
It's
next
two-
to the
I have
little
the map
house.
a lot, but
That's right, next to the house, next to the
Just
cemetery.
past Betty Sealer's, right across the street there, isn't there right away to Sugar Hill to
it
the
goes up
forest,
to
right?
someone.
Oh.
So there's two different.
Is this the new
right-of-ways.
property? Is this the property that just sold
I think so, I can.
for
and
90,000?
Oh, it's not Sugar,
There's
it's
two,
not Sugar Hill.
if Sugar Hill has two different right of ways,
Yeah.
one goes through someone's driveway,
Yeah,
Yes.
the old hanging house.
and the other
Yeah.
one goes off of the,
If you zoom in on that, you can see
Street.
it.
I gotta.
I mean, I don't want to get lost in the weeds, but
But anyway, there's going to be
Yeah.
solar arrays that pop up. There's this is gonna happen now that there's no longer a cap at 1 megawatt. You're going to see
Right.
this happen.
right.
So I have a couple of thoughts.
That's the property.
Once you pass this.
Yeah, that's
I think it used to be the Purington Trust or something
That
like
got
that.
cut just a little while ago.
That's it right there.
Comes down to the cemetery. Yep.
Oh, it's
Oh,
still
okay.
under the Purington Trust, yep.
Yeah.
So there's a three-phase line on Summer Street, so they're gonna connect,
Yep.
I think, to the three-phase there.
So they were supposed to come in and meet with us, Wednesday, and they canceled their meeting, so I'm not sure why.
Fellow named Kevin Corbett, right?
No, Sean
Cat.
Pierce.
Yeah.
Sean Pierce.
But that guy you just mentioned, I think he's just a figurehead for them. He puts his name on the letter. I got a copy of the letter.
Never met them.
I researched it, and he seems to have worked for about 4 different solar outfits over the last 8 years. So, yeah. Yeah, interesting. Okay. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Carol. I don't have any particular real heartburn about any of that, except for the question of, you know, as a town of Bristol, is our responsibility to encourage local renewable power. I'm not against it. That's just my only one question.
I kind of agree, and you know, we don't agree on this stuff 100%. So I would kind of equate that to the plastic straw initiative that the sustainability committee is doing, or we're doing. I don't know if or the plastic, not having plastic straws or plastics to styrofoam to go. This was she presented this a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And when I said to her, well, none of our waste stream can get into the ocean. It's going to the incinerator, so it shouldn't be getting out of the waste stream anywhere. So is that more of an educational thing where you say, wouldn't it be nice if everybody did this? That was concerned about that waste stream, and could it be the same thing? More of an educational piece, wouldn't it be nice if the people in town and the town could have a plan to head in this direction? More of an educational piece.
More of an educational, I think.
I don't know, I'm just, because I think it isn't, maybe it isn't our job, I don't think it is our job
Yeah.
to encourage people to, it might be our job through emergency management, through what do you call it? Your home emergency plan, to encourage people to have a way to be resilient themselves in an emergency. So you could say, these are the things you could do to do that along. But I don't think we want to eliminate all options. Say, I don't know, Chief, if there's anything like that, and if you guys have any, I know that Homeland Security has a bunch of things on how do you prepare for an emergency. That I don't know if we have anything in the town on the emergency management side like that. But I would say, you could say, well, we can educate people, here are your options, how are you gonna survive 5 days with no energy? And it could be renewables, it could be generators, it could be whatever. So that's a thought, make that more of an educational, suggestive, we're providing information on how do you survive an emergency. And
So
stay
you could
resilient.
change it to say, educate the Bristol residents on the benefits of right?
Or
Yeah.
options,
Right.
educate them on options of local.
There is a lot of
So,
education here that.
I'm not sure that the wording is terrible.
Yeah.
I just think how it gets implemented
Yeah.
is where you can do that.
Yeah. As long as we're on the same page, I guess.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say with this whole thing is the first bullet of that, the first bullet in there should be that we can provide town services 24/7, the needed town services 24/7. In any event,
Right.
I agree.
whether it's renewable or it doesn't matter what it is. If we need the fire station to be functioning and the police radios and the fire radios and part of this office and wastewater is kind of covered already.
Right.
Right, so, the trucks, what do we need to run 24/7 in an emergency? We need to do that in any way that works right now.
So you're saying ensure that,
I mean, to me, that's, so the goal of government in general is to provide public safety and, the goals are pretty small for government, and one of them is provide public safety and make sure that we can operate the government in
That's
an
right.
emergency.
That's right, and that's sort of the one under, I mean, that's what's intended by resiliency there. Now,
Yes, and
Now, maybe it's not necessarily residents, but the reason residents was there is that it's the benefit of the residents to be able to come to the fire station and have the lights on.
on the other page, Christina, the resiliency piece. The only thing I would say is, I don't disagree with that, but it can't just be renewable.
No, that, I
Our,
get that.
our, improving power resiliency, I get that. Let's, any way we can save money in the town,
Yeah.
like with a solar array, but
Right.
right now, right immediately, and the chief's, he's the emergency management director, he knows this. How do we run the town? How do we keep the roads open? How do we keep the buildings running? How do we get people the services that they need in an emergency? To me, that's number one.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know how long, without diesel supply, we can run about a day probably on generators, if that. If there's no diesel coming in from anywhere, if it's that bad of a situation.
No, probably longer than
Okay.
a couple of days.
Okay.
Anyway, I mean, the fires, the public safety building, once it's complete, I think that'll put all of our generators, except for maybe some or one of Jeff's, on propane.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and then ours, especially if it doesn't happen to be in the middle of winter, there's a lot of propane up there.
Right.
So it'll run for a long time. But not forever, to Paul's point, I don't, maybe personally, I don't know how we get there in any better way than Paul probably does, but I think the key is, right, the last portion of that, which is caused by a major weather event or terrorist attack, because yes, kind of the plan for FEMA, the plan for New Hampshire Homeland Security is fund generators, because that's that's the norm, especially in the downtown area, school districts and other infrastructure. 3 days, any longer than 3 days we're rural, but in a non-rural setting is a pretty long outage.
Yeah.
But that's definitely where we don't have a plan / resiliency is a week or two or a very large grid failure.
And that was the Sandy Hook case. They were down for weeks, and hospitals and
For what, so I didn't hear you.
Sandy Hook was down. They were down for weeks on Long Island.
Oh, yeah.
3-4 weeks,
Right.
and they had a heck of a time with hospital and fire response and emergency vehicle.
I mean, we had the 7-day outage here, the ice storm of 10 years ago.
98.
A lot of gas stations went down. I know that Homeland Security had created a plan to bring generators to gas stations and find a way to run pumps, if I'm not mistaken. But there's an example. Could we find a way to make sure our gas stations operated in Bristol by somehow providing alternate energy for them for a week or something like that? But I think that they have that plan already.
They do. It's similar to what I referenced about, depending on the time of the year, we can run the generator a lot longer at the public safety building. If it's relative to major ice storm, which is typically what we have, right? Ice storm, snowstorm, basically the people that have those generators that are part of that plan and can move those generators as part of that plan are the same people that are out trying to get the roads, right? So, it's a good plan, it's there, but, it probably won't be as effective or efficient as it may appear to be.
So I got in the weeds there, so.
No,
I'm thinking
I was thinking about some weed stuff too.
To me, that's the goal, our energy, it's not a goal, it's our energy, part of our energy plan is to make sure that we can provide services in any instance. To me, that's number one.
So the renewable piece of that really is, if you could, for example, we do have a south-facing, on the safety building, the new safety building, there's a south-facing roof there. And you see people beginning to put solar arrays up on the south-facing roof.
Yeah.
We've just seen that a couple places. If we could get a solar array on the roof and put some battery storage with it, I realize these things will take time. But if we could do that, it would give us an opportunity to supplement the diesel, or whatever it is, the generation, LP gas, whatever the generator, in case we need to.
Okay.
It gives us options.
Sorry. So you could move that one to the top.
Yep.
You could put ensure and improve power resiliency
Yes.
by developing a long-term plan for backup power.
Yes.
Or continuing, I don't want to make it sound like we haven't, the chief's never thought about it, or the wastewater, they didn't think about this stuff, so.
That's why I didn't put it first in a sense. I didn't want to make it so that it looked like that we hadn't thought of it or something. So. And
That's
also,
just my thought.
yeah.
And it won't be in the policy, the individual plants, they won't be listed, would they?
No.
No.
I think it would be more like this,
Yeah.
with a little bit more explanation.
Yeah.
That's
Like
good.
using the wording from the resiliency probably.
You would
And you might
list
be
it.
able to use the. I got nothing left.
You need a cupcake? Some more
Yes.
More pizza.
You might be able to use the words, not critical employees, what is it?
Mission critical.
Essential.
Essential
Essential.
to run essential services or whatever it is we call it.
We've just defined essential and non-essential functions. So if there was a town closure, there were certain things that didn't need to be here if something came.
Okay. And I have no problem, you move on, you try to, everything we could do. Right?
Yeah.
Every piece we could put in to make sure we can run the town.
All right, now-
Bicycle generators in the workout room at the
So-
fire station.
Do you, I mean, if we revamp this, how Paul revamped it and.
Yeah.
The bones are there.
The
for
bones
sure.
are there, and I
Yeah.
think it'll be a continuing discussion we have.
Yep.
This stuff's all moving. There's
Yeah.
moving parts.
Would you update it like every 2 or 3 years?
I would think.
Or is it annual?
It might be annual. The things are moving pretty quickly, and I certainly think that we should have a dialogue about these things as we
I was
roll.
gonna say the way
We would
the
incorporate.
technology of these things is advancing, I think it needs to be updated more than every 3 years.
Yeah, I would agree.
We could incorporate
least
this
a
into
brief
the
review.
guidelines as well. We can incorporate the policy to be updated every.
There's new batteries coming out that are doubling the density, the capacity of them, factor 2, that are just coming out. So the Chinese are building them, but still, it's indicative of where it's going, factor 2, over what you have today. So that's quite a bit, and you put the two together, it gets fairly interesting.
We had, at the legislature a month ago, we had the ambassador to New Hampshire from Canada, who knew there was one, but, and she said, well, we have all the materials to make batteries in Canada. I didn't know this, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there, so it might be that.
They do. In fact, there is, and I can't remember the exact spot, but there's places where they've mined that stuff before.
Yeah.
And it's pretty detrimental to what is that place? It's kind of a ghost town.
Yeah, I was just, well, I'm not really familiar with that, but I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, how detrimental is it to the environment?
And not that it's okay for it to happen in China, I'm just
Right.
saying, I hope they got a better process than they did, because
I'm sure,
when they were doing the smelting 70,
Yeah.
60, 50 years ago, it was pretty.
sure it'd be a little more,
You can bet the Chinese don't have a better process.
No, they don't.
They have authoritarianism.
I mean, they
makes
have
it
the
easy.
tar, so the Athabasca is the tar sand site in Canada,
Yeah.
where they make the oil. And interestingly enough, Canadians seem to be fairly liberal in their environmental policies, but they have no problem selling the tar sands crude oil
Right,
everywhere. They can sell it. They're trying, because it's a moneymaker.
yeah, yeah.
Or damming their rivers and doing hydro.
Yeah, they're big on that.
I know.
Well,
I know. I
right.
know.
It's a balance all the way around.
It is about.
So, the only thing I would say is educate. I agree with Sean. I don't know if it's our job to encourage people. I think it is our job to provide information that people ask for if we
absolutely.
have expertise.
So a thought here is, I believe in education. I try to educate. I try to write.
Yeah.
Should we do a communication corner? Should we do an energy corner in the Bristol Buzz where we try to educate? Right down the middle. Just don't lean it.
Yep,
This is right down the middle of education.
I
And
like that.
I have no problem doing it or helping to do it. There's a lot going on here, and I don't know if that's the best vehicle.
But it's a
It
start.
can't hurt.
We can add them to Facebook, we can add them to
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's
the
something
page
you
of the website.
always have Christina post something on social media.
Yeah,
Because I think education is part of what the committee ought to do. The select board, a little different, right? But the committee ought to be in the role of education, I personally think.
So I don't want to cut this short, but
we have one more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
we do have a
So
lot
I'll
of other
make some
stuff tonight.
additions to that.
So Paul has redrafted the community power electric aggregation plan. When we first talked, we thought we had to have it adopted before town meeting, but we don't. So
Okay.
I'll let Paul.
So the way this works, and I'm in the learning process of this whole thing, but the way this works is that we draft a plan, which we have done. It's important that you read the plan and understand it, and we essentially put it up as a draft for, again, education to the people who are going to be voting on this at town meeting. So on the website right now, we have, in case you haven't seen it, a presentation with audio that I did that sort of describes the whole thing, and then we have as well now, if you're okay with it, we'll post the draft plan that people have asked for. And the draft plan really just goes over the details of how this thing would work and how people opt in and so on. Nothing revolutionary in it, really. It does have, the reason it's updated is it does have the new rates. Interestingly enough, Eversource, this is interesting, Eversource has suddenly dropped their rates.
Yeah, right, imagine that. Yeah.
And there's a 2.5 cent rider. Did you see this? They're getting 2.5 cents because we overcharged you before.
We are paying more
Yeah,
than Eversource right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, the town?
Yes,
Yeah.
because
yeah,
we
because
were
they locked in.
This is
Oh,
the last
right.
year of that contract.
Last year of the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping is that as we come out of the contract, you'll be able to get a better rate with community power. Yes, yes. So the plan is really just a plan, and it has a lot of boilerplate in it about statute, and it has the new rates in it that they're going to be offering, and talks about how to opt in and so forth. There's more work to do. We'll have, if we succeed at town meeting, if it passes, then I'll be back to you and we'll work more about rollout. There's a rollout plan that we have to develop. There's a communication plan that goes with it. So it doesn't mean that the day after town meeting this thing turns on. It really becomes an issue with the select board and myself and my team, the energy committee, working together to come up with a communication plan and deciding when to go.
Okay.
What the town vote would mean is that we're all okay to proceed.
Right.
It really puts the authority in your hands to make the calls on their behalf after the town meeting.
What can we do town meeting day to help this?
I'll
Just leave
speak
it
to
alone, let you manage it.
I thought I would speak to it.
I was gonna ask if you wanted some type of, if you were okay with, if there was some type of slide that Paul wanted to put in, because the slideshow's on your
Yep.
agenda next, but some type of slideshow like we could put in.
Yep.
I don't know if we wanna put the energy policy,
The only thing I would say is
right,
you have to find a way to give as much information as possible in the most concise
right.
manner.
Which is always a challenge.
Which is always a challenge, because if it's a 20-minute,
It can't be a 20-minute.
you will lose people.
I get it.
Yeah.
So my thought here, Sean, is to just stick to the economics.
Yeah,
This is no tax impact, lower cost energy, a chance for your voice to be heard a little bit more on energy
Yeah.
policy than you get today.
I think you need
Just
to
keep
be
it there.
really clear that they are all opted in though,
Yes.
unless they opt out, because I think that people will get confused about that, and I do think it needs to be really clear to the people.
Okay.
Right, because we have a good number of very sort of independent, liberty-minded people that
Yeah.
don't like to be told what to do, which is fair, right? It's totally fair.
Yep, yeah, it is totally fair. And I have noticed that trait.
Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of a New Hampshire trait.
it is.
And the Free Staters have noticed this and they're all coming here and encouraging it.
There you go.
I know.
all right.
So I think that's it.
So I'll post the draft.
Yeah.
Do you want that posted,
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
with the town meeting
Yeah.
information?
Now, there is an article that I wrote. It's really the same article I ran once before
Oh,
with
that's what we
updated
talked
information
about
in.
at the beginning, yeah.
Right, and that's ready to go on the Bristol Buzz.
Great.
It's again right down the middle of here's what it is. And,
Yeah.
and I did have two sessions, public sessions. They weren't well attended.
Right. Didn't think there would be.
I was sick,
You
I'm
never
sorry
told
for
us
the
about
second
this.
one.
Right.
I know.
You
The
guys
first
tell us
one
about this?
wasn't well attended, but it was more people there.
Call everybody, Carol.
But it was recorded, correct?
It was recorded.
It's available.
That's right. And I keep pointing at it. You'll see it in the, what's the paper that we get? I get the names mixed up.
The Newfound Landing?
Mhm.
Or the
We
Lake
found
Life?
Life.
The monthly or
The
The one in the mail? The monthly one in the mail?
Yeah.
Oh, here.
You found Lake Life.
Lake Life.
Lake Life. There's an article, it's the same article that I've got for Bristol
Oh,
Buzz
okay.
going with a little bit of updates to it. So I've tried to communicate through written and online
Yeah.
and
Okay, very good.
all right.
Thank you very much for everything.
Sure.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess.
Okay.
Power nap.
Hungry.
Oh, good.
I probably should
Talk to the
have
chief.
gave you guys pizza.
Yeah.
All right, we're back in session. Thank you very much. All right, warrant articles, town meeting.
I was gonna say, if you wanna start with the one that says 09 SB folders, these are the material, we're gonna vote, and you're gonna tell me who's gonna vote, motion, things like that, but
Yeah.
also, if there's something, this isn't finished, if there's something really specific you wanna note in any of these places,
Thank you.
or have me research. This is the petition, obviously Raymond's got a really nice letter for the petition. I don't know if there's any.
And that gets moved by the petitioner.
That's what, so I'll leave, so I'll just fix that, take the question marks off, but I don't know if you have any other key points that you want me to add to your page. Raymond's pretty much covers it.
Where are these? Help me.
Sorry, 09 SB folders, it says.
Got it.
I changed your pointer, did it help you tonight? Is it working a little better?
I have the pointer too big?
The pointer was huge.
I do that.
Oh, you did? So I changed it thinking it might help,
Okay.
but I don't know.
So far, so good.
Okay,
Okay,
so if there's any other key points, I can put them in here, but I think Raymond's pretty much covered it.
Key point that I'm gonna resign if I have to hand count ballots.
yeah, until 2 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, I think it would be good to point out the lines, Raymond's mentioning them, but I can list them here.
Yeah.
What the lines are, what the budget numbers and what they really are for, so that
Okay.
you have it, because her verbally saying it would be better if it was.
So this is what we're gonna see in our
your
packets,
folders. Yeah.
the key points. Not, this is
isn't gonna
what,
be- This isn't on the screen.
this is
no.
not on the screen, right?
So, questions for this, just because these conversations were coming up today. Do we know for certain that the software on these machines can't be tampered with before they get here?
Currently, yes, the one they're buying, Rima addresses that this does not hook up to online.
That's not what I'm asking you.
Okay.
You're saying
That I
prior
heard.
to delivery.
Oh,
Private delivery
before
is-
they get
It
here.
has to have a little computers in it.
Yeah.
So,
Can you program that computer to say every 500 ballots you're gonna add 10 Republican votes?
Can you
Can that be
ask
done?
Rayma to forward
What would the problem with that be?
Her,
You gotta switch side.
to Carol?
Rayma addressed
So
it.
Rayma in her comments, because she's unfortunately not gonna be at the meeting, but
Okay.
she wrote a letter for the deputy to read at the meeting.
All right.
And
Forward
it talks
that.
about, huh?
I was just gonna say we'll forward that.
And it talks about the process whereby there are 2 signatures every time that thing gets cut, every time the thing gets
So,
put back on,
here's
it
the
gets
thing.
tested.
It doesn't answer that question.
It doesn't.
Let me,
no.
I'll call the Secretary of State's office and see if I can get any info, actually.
But I'll get a copy of it, so you have it.
Yeah.
Just-
Okay,
I'm just thinking, being
Yep,
prepared for the
yep.
question, that's all.
And we're going in order how Bill appeared.
Yes.
yes, these are exactly
This
the
is set.
articles, this is
Yeah.
set. Obviously, someone could make a motion to move
Yeah.
it around, but you chose to put this first because more people will be here to vote on this. Article 10 is the
budget.
budget. I have no key points in there just yet.
I think key point needs to be what percentage is attributable to salary adjustments and
Insurance.
insurance.
So we only budgeted the 7% in the budget for the insurance, but it is a 14.6% increase technically. But because it's half a year, we only did half of it. so,
Right.
But there were other increases on insurance, not just the property and liability insurance increase,
Right,
so. yeah.
Right.
So insurance, stuff we don't control.
Your salary.
The state portion.
So when I first looked at the budget, I
that's
did
tax
color code it and pick out exactly what was attributed. I can go back and look at those lines. Ben is helping work on what's attributed to, broken down by department, the salaries, but
Would it be helpful to have
And-
a list of how many employees have moved out in the last year, and we've had to hire new people, and how many open positions we have
Or I
right
would just
now?
maybe just say retention.
Yeah.
Retention is a problem.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the theme is employee retention.
Yeah. it's safe to say we have some empty positions now?
I did put a note under accrued wage.
Filled one.
Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now. I did put under accrued wages a note the number of employees that are 15 plus years, and then the number of vital positions retiring in the next few years, because that's it. That's why the budget's, that salary line has changed so much as well, so.
Speaking of that, Christina, do we need to announce the
Yes,
PAF?
but we can do that under TA report,
Okay,
select board
yeah.
items, yeah. Okay. The tax impact in a vacuum, in a vacuum where nothing changes, I can give you that estimate there.
Right.
And I think it's about $1 million from last year. I'd have to go look to make sure, but and if I do, that's probably a $2 estimate. That's if nothing changes, but things are changing because we know our revenues are changing.
Right.
And we don't know what else it might help us throughout the year, so.
I think under key points, we definitely want to see the number of the actual budget with, water,
Yeah.
you don't,
General.
So last,
I'm having a hard time with words right now.
So last year there was, so the one thing that's a little different in our Excel sheet this year is that it doesn't break it down. Normally it used to do general fund, general government operations,
Yeah.
and it would do public safety. I can do that and put it in the list, but our new program doesn't do that. So that's one thing that's a little different this year, so I can break that down here
Okay.
too, so.
Yeah, and if possible, to get that information. We've got a meeting before, no, we don't have a meeting.
No.
before town meeting.
I can get that all in.
Yeah.
So I do a book like this.
Yeah.
With each of these pages and everything on it that you
It
need.
even says that Rob's gonna move this,
Yes.
Daryl's gonna second it, and, yeah.
So
So
like
we're
this,
deciding that tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
so like this one, I put budget committee moves and speaks to this article, because
Yep.
normally they are the ones who do the move in the second.
Yep.
But I'll give you notes, safety, etc. Anything else on the budget one?
I'll flog this dead horse again. Can you make a slide with what you have on the bottom there to put up for people to see?
Where, and do you want
The
that
tax,
with,
the tax impact, is that?
Yeah.
do you want that to be part of the, so when we get to the slides, what's,
Okay, so if somebody says, how much
Because I have
is gonna
slides
impact
for
my
you to look at
taxes, which
tonight,
they always
too.
do.
so, I'll just
I
write
know
this
it's-
up.
Well, it's right
I-
there, Carol, that's what she was saying, that in a vacuum, she
We have
hasn't filled it in yet, but
I will,
estimated tax impact for budget committee total increase would be $2.
Do we want it to, for our, you saying for our info? Or
No,
for-
he wants it.
He
I just
wants-
want it displayed for the tax.
Yeah, I'm
he
saying the
wants
bottom two
two
lines.
notes.
Yeah.
I think if you just put the first note, or you could put the
Yeah,
second
put
note,
them
that's
both, and
fine.
then put-
Yeah. He wants on a slide, which
I would-
so,
And it's because, and you could also put, says me, you could put on it that, why is that a $596,000 number? Because that's the valuation of our property.
yeah.
Whatever.
I wouldn't put the large number on there. Just because I think that's gonna
Okay,
alarm
yeah.
people and confuse people.
Yeah.
But if you've got the lower number, then people say, oh, okay, point that, yeah. Then they
Because
can-
we really don't have a $500,000
In
right?
between,
It's easier to multiply in 50. Yeah.
Well, I'm not even talking about easier, I'm just talking, somebody sees a dollar increase in the tax rate, they're gonna go, oh my God!
Oh, no, that's a great point,
Yeah.
thank you.
so do you want it in between these articles, like, there are other slides in between as we go down? Or do you want it on the bottom of this one,
I think you could have a separate,
Yeah.
have one that goes in
with
between.
just the 50,000?
Yep.
Just in case, and I'm not saying you have to show it, but if somebody,
Go back.
No, I think it's a good reference
Yeah.
for people to keep
Yeah.
in mind.
Okay,
Cause we're always getting asked that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. Let's go back. Okay, anything else on budget? Article 11 is the contingency fund. I've added what we spent the contingency fund over 2023. what was remaining that went back to the general fund, and then there's no estimated tax impact there.
Yeah.
However, it does lessen the amount of
So who
money.
wants to move and second that?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Les is moving,
I'll second that.
and who's speaking?
I don't mind speaking to it.
Well, yeah, whoever moves it.
The mover is the speaker.
Well, you guys switched it a little last year, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although I suppose like with the
Well,
energy
we
one.
can
you
transfer
want
it to
policy.
Right,
somebody
yeah,
that-
and that's what,
Like if it was
Yeah.
energy stuff, we could say we were
Right.
gonna ask Paul to speak to it.
Article 12 is the Patriotic Recreation Special Events. It's the fireworks. I did put the new vendor covers boat barge show, all provided by the vendor, 18,000. Additional items, portable units, food, entertainment, $2,000. I don't know. And then the estimated tax impact is 4 cents.
I'd like to
yeah,
move and speak to that.
yeah.
Rob,
Thank you.
Rob, Rob, got it.
Unless Les wants to.
I'm done. I'm done with fireworks.
Remind me, what else is that used for? What is the patriotic piece
Oh
mean?
my gosh, well, there's a guy that plays music for us to charge
that
us absorbent fees.
So the trust fund is Patriotic Recreation Special Events. It can actually be used for more than the fireworks, but the way we've done it is that it is just the fireworks warrant article that we use, we put
Yeah,
into this
yeah,
fund.
we don't use that for the flag.
Under key
No.
points.
To get
But I
lucrative
do
town
have to talk to
contracts.
somebody about that.
Wait,
No, we have a patriotic line in the budget that does the flags for the cemetery, but I have no idea who's going to be doing those.
okay.
Under key points, could we have the balance of that expendable trust fund if there is any?
Yes, I did put that, I will add in the slideshow, but I'll add that. There's like maybe 100.
Perfect, that's what I want to have.
But I'll add it, balance of trust. Article,
And you don't need to, we all know that this is because they changed the rules, why it's costing us
Right.
more. You don't need.
Well, and there's also less demand on
I can have a comment on.
town employees as far as setting the show up
Yeah,
and moving
right.
barges and all that. Like, that's one of the things I want to kind of
Mhm.
harp on to justify that increase.
Well, and it brings back the size show that everybody has been
Yes.
wanting,
Right.
Yeah.
but
Actually,
that we couldn't afford to do otherwise.
Put that in that it's a class B, not class C, unless
I'll put the vendor name, I just, when I was doing this, I didn't.
pyrotechnica.
It's good to have the key points in case one of us gets sick and doesn't go, then the rest of us have got
Or
it.
just spaces it when we get up there.
And then just allow less demand on the town for putting on the show, which is, you know. yeah,
And
big
we're
people.
always gonna hear, when are you gonna start asking the other towns
Oh,
for
yeah.
money? But, you know, we can ask all we want, and we have asked.
Well, there is a fireworks committee, feel free to join.
Oh, in fact, it's forming a new fireworks committee, right?
We're gonna have to, because we only have, I mean, it's been Les, myself, Victor, Ben, and Chris. And
Me and
that's
you this
it.
year.
Yeah, so
Because now Jamie's gone and
Jamie's gone because we aren't contracting with him to do the
Yeah.
vote anymore, so.
Okay.
Article 13 is, I know I have a lot of key points to put in here, but, is the parsonage.
Yes. I'm happy to move it and speak to it.
I'll second that for you.
And I think, what do you think of having some pictures available of the inside?
Yeah.
Because I think if, looking at the outside, I can see why
been-
people would say, don't take it down.
I probably should do this at the same time, it'll save time, sorry.
Yeah.
So, I do have to, just real quick, this is the slideshow, I'm gonna match these while we're talking. That's the cover, I wanna get a new public safety building picture added into
Yep.
the cover.
Yeah.
There's your town report dedication. I didn't know if we wanted to put the special, not the special recognition tonight, but the other special ones that we did.
Oh, put 'em
If
on.
we should-
Absolutely.
So I'll add those, in there. We actually mailed a copy of the town report to Barry Tanner's family. We mailed a copy to Denise DeStefano.
Okay.
And we mailed, we were gonna let Barbara's family know to pick it up, and we mailed one to, Mr. Patton's son.
Yeah.
So Denise and Alan are in Florida still? Yeah.
So there's supposed to be back, but, so I'll add those other ones in between. I don't worry. Then this one just tells us Articles 1 through 8, what they were. Article 9 is your petition. I don't have anything to add into that.
Yep.
Article 10 is your budget. The only thing, Paul, I'm gonna reach out to him before the meeting, because he wanted to add his Excel sheets to it, which he can add them again if you're okay with that. We shared them on the screen, but I don't wanna do it the day of, like we had to do
Right.
last time,
Right.
so. Article 11 is is the contingency.
Yeah.
Article 12 is, didn't change, sorry. Article 12 is the patriotic, and then here's your article for the parsonage. I added the drawing.
Yep.
Nice.
And I added the estimate for the
Okay.
construction, so.
And you can add some,
Add
maybe
some-
add the pictures before,
After.
I did
after the numbers. Yeah.
after the numbers.
Yeah.
Because it would be good to say, you know, we've heard that people are concerned about taking down
Yeah.
a historic building, and we value our historic buildings, which we do, clearly. But after touring it, if you had had the opportunity to tour it and here are some pictures, you'd realize that it's not salvageable.
I mean, in our site visit today, I think the only historical thing I saw was the banister, the
Yeah.
railing, the banister ending, I mean, and the windows in the front door,
Yeah.
and then the foundation, which was starting to crumble and fall apart, and they'd already done something different in the basement by
Right.
pouring cement. I didn't really, in the metal roof in one of the rooms.
There's a tin
Tin
ceiling
roof, yeah.
in one of the rooms.
Oh, yeah, and tin
Yeah.
walls.
Yep, in one
But
of
some
the
of that
rooms.
can be saved. if-
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The total upstairs is never finished. You can actually see outside, and it wasn't even.
Wow.
It's not it has the old wide boards. That's the
Right.
only. But other than that, it wasn't even finished. We have pictures we can show you.
Okay.
How,
Let me go back to the other one.
is the only way we're gonna see this for the person that's speaking is to turn around and look at the screen?
This book
What do
is
you-
where your keynotes are going to be.
That I got.
But to see the
But
other
like the
stuff-
numbers,
You're gonna have that with you when you go
I can-
up, and you're gonna be.
I can put these numbers in the book in your book.
so a few things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we each get a screen. That I see.
We didn't bring your computers last time, but we could.
Just kidding.
I just don't, their Wi-Fi isn't always the most
I'm
efficient.
just, no, it's okay, I'm just playing.
Add, I can add the estimate
Well, we'll
to,
be able to play Candy Crush while we're up there. I think,
books.
Good idea, I'm bringing that.
So going back to this, I think one of the things, there were a lot of key points that came out in some of our, I'm obviously gonna mention that we've met with the Conservation Commission. They've provided their full support. We meet with the planning board next week. I will see what their support is and what their thoughts are, because I have to present it to them next week. The historic district is concerned about the historic stuff, but we can certainly share the pictures. And other key, I was gonna look at the historic district guidelines, the criteria that Susie Putman mentioned, that she believed we would meet.
Yeah.
So I will look at that and see if,
But don't get
No.
into the weeds
No.
on that. Just
I'll
Yeah.
just have that available for you if you need
Yeah.
it, so.
I fully.
So what other key points do we want? Do we want to put like helping out the local businesses,
additional
helping
parking.
out residents, the local residents in the area?
more park area for people to enjoy.
Green space.
Yeah.
Trees.
I
We
heard,
aren't taking down the big tree,
No.
so.
I heard today, it doesn't matter where I heard it from, it's third hand ones. Third hand.
What did you hear?
That, well, we shouldn't spend money on that, we should just take that green space and make it into parking.
The what?
The
Just
down,
take
The-
our green
the-
space and make it into parking, not spend the money doing this.
that would be twice.
That would cost
Do you
more,
know how much
and
money
it
we
used to
spent
be
on
that way.
Yeah,
This is such short
It
money
used to be
for
outrageous.
future parking,
yeah.
even if we can't do it right away.
Okay.
So I did put to estimate tax impact is 16 cents, so. This is, okay,
Oh, I remember, the slide with the estimated tax impacts. I know you guys are gonna say people can figure this out, but could you just put like 3 more bullets? If your valuation is 200,000, it's this much more per year for that.
On the budget.
10 cents.
Maybe do the math.
I agree, let people do the
All
math.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be more frightening when they say, wait a minute,
Yeah,
so.
okay, all right.
key point, I also should be, besides the helping businesses in green space, the safety issue, you pulling out of that parking lot, if you do, with the building there, is a safety hazard for anybody trying to pull out and not see traffic, so.
And then, do we want to, there could also be a safety issue from the aspect of the trucks, the large trucks going through there. That would require the state to look at that when they do the 10-year plan, the project.
The 20
Cutting that sidewalk, cutting that corner back.
They might actually consider that more.
Yeah, they would.
Because the
Yeah.
building isn't there. And the other thing was mentioned was the building had been hit at least minimum of 3 times, so.
In all seriousness about putting that up, I just think that would create more confusion.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I can, if need be, I can speak to driving a large tractor trailer through there personally.
Richard
I
Metcalf
have,
at the
so.
Conservation Commission meeting said, to him, he even driving the watering thing, takes
Yeah.
his life into his own hands when he's there and you can't see around the building. So-
Ask me how many times I rolled the trailer on the sidewalk tractor off of that.
Yeah.
Years ago. Yeah, remember that used to be a high
Yeah,
curb there?
Yeah.
And that was a common thing to dump the sander off the back of the highway, the sidewalk tractor.
So large, we can put, well, it's not a guarantee, but most likely, right, the 10-year project is
Right.
gonna happen. But-
10,
eventually.
50.
It can be a
That's
key
because
point though,
the
as
show-
large
that
trucks
area.
cross the yellow line.
What
Well,
is
they're
it?
supposed to be starting that at
It's
School
20.
Street, but they could, in this case, maybe they would come back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet you they find the
I
money for
mean,
that.
the alternative is the building is either, no one's gonna buy that building. They're gonna have to take it down. So if they take it down and it's just,
Who said, was it Candidates Day, somebody said something about it could be housing?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is.
So, that's another point you should make, because, if the town did purchase this and didn't tear it down and had to subdivide it up, you're gonna have to provide parking, so it defeats the purpose. You're paying $20,000 for a lot less parking,
Right,
than what you would have with moving the building out.
right.
So it defeats the purpose of purchasing that
Yeah.
property,
And you have a safety issue with that, with the
Right.
driveway.
right?
And we're not gonna be landlords, we're not gonna be renting.
No, but they wanted you to consider purchasing it, subdividing
Yeah.
it, selling off the building. Well, to
Yeah.
do that, you gotta also make sure you have enough parking for the building. And the size of that building, if it could, I'm not even sure, it's not a tear down.
And then you got
anyway.
6 or 8 units coming
Right.
out of that bad spot.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
little kids,
Yeah.
on that corner.
Okay.
We have so many reasons.
Okay. Article 14 is your capital reserves. This is what they are, these are what the balances are for the capital reserves. There's a couple of keynotes that I did attach your capital improvements plan. I also put it in the slideshow, and I also put the trustee of the trust fund's balance, for the capital reserves in the slideshow. Going back to this, there are other couple of things that I noted, was the number, I was gonna go in and update the number of employees 15 years or plus, the number of vital positions retiring in the next few years.
Yeah.
The revaluation is due in 2025. Cost of the last revaluation was approximately 150,000 split over 5 years, with the largest amount coming from the final year. And then our equalization ratio was 54.2%. So
Where are you?
right here,
You totally lost me. I can't find it.
I'm reading fast, sorry.
And what do they
I'm
recommend?
going between the two so you don't have to go back and watch the other one again. So,
No, you're on the, what you're gonna hand
Yeah,
out.
Article
Yeah.
14.
Article 14.
Key points.
So,
Oh,
this, the one note I will add, this is $26,000 more than last year. Mainly, it's attributable to, it's costing a lot more for this equipment.
Yeah.
But we did try to offset that by reducing the others.
Yeah.
And then it is approximately a 72-cent. So,
I can move it.
I'll second it.
so you're gonna speak to it?
Sure.
That's what I was reading, and that's what I thought. Is there anything else you want for this one? I will put the trust fund.
So we
listed.
reduced, can you put, like the ones we reduced,
Yes,
can you put a star next to them?
Yep.
Or an R, can you put a little R? Reduce, or a plus or a minus?
How about a unicorn?
No, because, what if we do a plus or a minus? Because, so that way there it's
plus or minus, plus,
after,
if it went up, it was a plus, if it went down, it was a minus.
we lowered it.
Okay, I can do that.
Also, a note. What's our next fire replacement?
Engine 2.
And the proposed budget for
I
that?
can do that.
$1 million?
Right.
I
Sorry,
think
what was-
CIP finally changed it to either nine something or
You've got, it
because
is,
it'll easily do that.
engine 2 is 800. Does that sound right?
I can't make this
And
bigger right
1,000?
now, but.
800,000.
Yeah. So that should be noted there, so
Engine
Scott
two
can
is-
say, our next fire engine replacement is close to $1 million. Our next,
And when is it slated?
No, it's in as $1 million.
Is
Oh, no, it is 8. Never mind, I'm going into 4.
slated for
It'll probably cost $1 million.
yeah.
2000, no, that's 26 years, 2008, 26 years,
It's on
2031,
the schedule for 31.
31.
31.
Can,
Rob doesn't think it's gonna last to that.
I don't.
You never know.
would you print me a
So-
copy of, a paper copy of that
If
CIP?
you want it 31, bring it to
I
order
did
next
you want
year.
another one?
No, this is the same, it hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
No, I haven't, yeah. no,
Okay.
yeah.
So accrued wages, those notes are fine, assessment, those notes are fine, fire capital reserve, we'll put, our next fire engine is close to replacement,
Yeah.
It's probably gonna cost more because the missions are changing in
It's close to $1 million.
2026.
It's close, wait,
it's gonna cost us close to
it's
$1
close to
million.
replacement, 2031, or is that, you're talking about a different truck?
It says, our next fire engine replacement cost is close to $1 million in 2031.
Oh, I thought you said we were close to replacing it, sorry.
If it makes it.
And then the highway truck, he said it was over 200,000,
Over
and that's
250.
next year.
Yeah,
250, I think.
It was 201, I thought.
yeah,
Which one?
Well, depending who we got it from, I think. Fully,
is
Fully
fully
worked out.
roughly
And
$200,000.
that's
Six-wheel
next year.
dump truck?
Or is that this
Fully
year?
outfitted.
Yeah, it's to replace the
Is that this year?
older Freightliner.
I said next year, I think it's this year.
2024 is one, that's
Okay.
the six-wheel for 176,000.
Oh, it's over 200, he found out, so I'll put over 200.
Yeah.
The police cruiser,
So, yeah, you
Yeah.
can rotate.
Or you could just flip this.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
He's doing a good job. I love it. Just thought I might save a little time.
You said that.
It'd probably move it.
I wasn't trying to
it's
pick
not
on
an
you.
iPod. Carol, I'm not.
Ben is so amused.
That's all good.
Police vehicle
We're
is,
getting punchy.
if police vehicle's costing over 65,000,
Yeah.
and we have to replace one this year, correct?
I'm
Is
not
that what
looking-
you
I'm
said
not
for
looking.
around 65?
Yes. We do one every year.
And then town building maintenance, we did reduce it, but it's also gonna help move them back. We've had a few minor issues throughout the year, so.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have any furniture or desks or.
No,
I
no.
He got done, well, fire department does, PD doesn't. So PD got the bigger reception area, they're gonna sit on the floor.
Yeah.
They got chairs.
They go down to the White Farm and get some of those 1950s desks.
Are they some?
I don't know, I love those old things.
Yeah, I would love that.
This is,
So just, I know I've said this before, reminding all of us that the question came up last year about the public safety building. Are there gonna be any extra costs that aren't in this 4.8 million, like desks and tables
Oh,
and
no.
chairs?
Well,
We're not counting that in
I'm
this.
just
So-
reminding us that the question could come up that you said last year, there might not be much or whatever,
Well, so,
to be thinking about.
so to that point, when the final cost came in, the costs were higher, so we had to cut it back.
We do, so clarification
But we
too,
still
there
need to-
may, we don't
right.
know yet the full interest number, so
Right.
I don't anticipate any of that would come out of, I don't, not desks or anything, so I don't think we should say that. This is more for the move and anything that comes up in the year for building maintenance for all, I think, unanticipated building maintenance for all our buildings.
Yeah.
Plus to move them back, because that was, we did tell people that was not budgeted
right.
to move them or to move them back, so. But,
I think we should have, I think we could, I think the town people can raise money and they can sponsor the chief's desk and the superintendent's desk.
he,
That's a
the
great
other
idea.
chief, yeah.
Yeah,
We could do a fundraiser, put Arrow's picture out on posters.
yeah.
I found a picture of Barbara fundraising for Arrow when I was looking for pictures.
Nice.
And it was so cute.
All right. On the CIP, this is basically making it look like we have the rubber tire excavator.
They did put it on there, yes.
Yeah, because it says replacement 2040. Just
So they do that with this, CIP does, if it is asked for, they put it on here.
Right.
You decide, it's advisory, so you decide whether to take their advice and to budget for that or not.
yeah, no, I'm just saying this shows it as a current model, like we have one.
Rubber track.
It will,
Says tire.
because that's what he was
That should be
proposing.
changed.
Right, and I'm getting the rubber tire one.
Bring
It
a rubber
should.
track.
Well, not necessarily, because that was just what came up this year. What comes up next year might be a whole other
They
thing.
should get the rubber tire.
Yes, I agree.
That would be better.
Okay. Next.
Did I showed you this already, yes, okay. Article 15 is the veterans tax credit, I just have justice in the I'm losing it, slideshow. In your folders, I have, oh, did we? Yeah, we did, never mind. I have, if approved, this will also update both the veterans, the regular veterans and all veterans. These are the 2023 current amounts. They're broken down by how much, this is just the increase. And then it would be a 7-cent estimated impact. Is there anything else that you would like in that? No.
That's if it goes up.
If it goes up, it will increase both the regular veterans and the all veterans. I broke them down there, and based on the total 37,250, it's about 7 cents.
That we
That's
currently have,
not
that could go down.
37,000 increase or total of it?
37 only increase.
Okay.
So total is 108,000.
That
or
tax
something like
impact's
that.
a lot more than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So for every.
Credits do more than you think.
For every $56,000 that roughly, so that's up just over half of 56.
Right.
So that's why it's 7 cents.
I don't have one yet. Who
And
doesn't
this
have one
com-
yet?
what?
I haven't done one yet.
You haven't done
I'll
one?
move this.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Carol Brown, and you'll
Oh.
speak to it?
I'll second it.
And Rob, okay. Article 16 is community power.
Can you back up a second?
Oh.
Do we have the number, in case someone asks, what all of our credits?
I
Can I have, I think they're on the webpage, but a list, if I could have a list of all the credits that we give out, and how much is that now?
So we give
If that's possible.
exemptions and credits. I can, exemptions vary by quite a bit of money. I
Yeah.
can probably figure that out for you though.
Well,
And then-
don't overdo it, just keep it simple, maybe just a list of
Because
this.
exemptions aren't on here, are they?
No,
We're not
exemptions,
changing that?
no.
So
Just-
why would
just
we muddy the
credits.
water with it?
Just credits,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we are looking at exemptions over this year to ask for next year because our values have changed quite a bit, but our exemptions haven't. So credits though are,
Yeah.
there are there are 3 different types of credits. Well, these 2, all veterans and regular veterans, and then there's a $1,700 totally and permanently disabled
Yeah.
credit. That's not touched by this. This is
No,
just
I get it, I
those.
just, in case, I just think of the
So
question.
do you just wanna know what we offer
Yeah,
and not what would not necessarily how many, just what we offer?
yeah, just do that. instead
So-
of getting
Could
the
you
number.
have
If this fails,
I think Les is right, let's keep it.
if this fails, does the 500 stay in place?
It
Yes.
does.
Okay, I just carried that right, so that's,
It does, yeah, and and then,
this is just a article.
To bump it up.
to bump it up. 'Cause
Yeah.
we have, and I can tell you when we changed it last, I think it was 2007, so I'll have that here.
Okay. Could we have, yeah, we did have a second on that.
So Article 16 is the community power. So I have the article, I don't really have anything else in there, but if we do put the energy policy goals, we could put those here, in the slide, if that's what you wanna do, once he's updated them.
Okay.
And then, obviously Paul's gonna speak to it, but I can write Paul. Is there any key points or anything else you want here?
Well, one of us has to
Yeah.
move it because he can't, so I'll move it, that's fine.
I'll second.
I was gonna add the checklist of how it gets developed, so if people have a question about the timeline, I think we do have that
Yeah.
roughly, so I can add that in here.
Okay.
Nice job, Christina.
Yeah.
And I can finish the note over here, I have no idea what I was writing.
Timeline for the
No, on the
checklist.
veterans. So
On
I
the
said
veterans.
exemptions and credits, the
List.
what we offer.
List of credits.
List of credits, total list of credits.
I mean,
and then-
you could give me, if you could give me some kind of a dollar
Oh,
number, I
I got
won't
it.
say, unless
I
somebody
will-
asks, then we'll have that, that's all.
Changed previously.
Oh, you previously changed in
Yeah.
2007.
Took me a minute to remember. Then, this is just Article 22, I say thank
It's
you,
actually
Sean.
17.
I mean 17. Did I not? Yeah, I gotta fix that. It was 22 last year. So I'll fix that. Article 17 is any other business. Thank you, Sean, for your service. Welcome the new select board and welcome to all election winners. Or, yeah,
Yep.
that's right. Is there anything else you want in your other business?
No.
Is there any need to put?
Who's gonna speak to the,
Nobody has to move this, I don't think.
so, no, the 17, is someone gonna say, who's gonna speak to?
This is technically 17. I messed that up. I'll fix it.
Do you wanna list all the new, everybody that got elected or not?
I can do that. But we should have.
No,
What's
because
that
Ned will
gonna
go
get?
over that at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Okay, all right.
What's
So
our
I
skill
will-
is thunder?
Well, you'd be
Um,
repeating these. Yeah.
there. I'm having a mind blank.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
No.
No, it's not. There's a dance that Saturday night at the town hall.
There is.
No.
Club
Yeah,
soda.
It's
Club
the week
soda.
after. It's the week after.
What?
I'll tell, yeah, I have it on new, but I have it under senior report.
Oh boy,
We go to the,
scheduling conflict.
so we go to the homestead after.
Oh, we did do that last year, didn't we? Oh,
Yeah, we had, I think
Oh,
we
I'm
had
sorry,
12
you're
of us.
right, it
last
was the
year.
week after.
Yeah. I can't, so is there
I don't
anything,
want to get rid
else? I mean, this is pretty much their slideshow.
Yep.
I'm gonna get, like I said, I'm gonna try to get the updated picture of the public safety building in there. I'll add those other two things that, in the slides here. I'll add the other three things, or four things in the slide, and then I'll update your books.
We should be able to get a pretty decent picture in a day or two of the safety building once, if they come back tomorrow or 2 days in a row.
Okay,
They're only gonna get 3 more boards on, they said.
so, I can't remember what else I wanted. Good grief. I'll remember by the end of the meeting, hopefully.
One thing.
This was
Yeah,
the
we-
only picture that we had of the public safety building. It's missing the siding, so I can use this if we don't have another one, later.
I
Kate's
can
gonna,
take one on Monday, wait for some sun.
Yeah,
and then for everybody, for I will add the other stuff here, but there's your meet the candidates video, your officers that are running, these are the proposed zoning amendments, and the document tells what's being changed. They were supposed to do a video this week. They
Yeah.
didn't.
Didn't happen.
Okay. And then there will be concession food, snacks, and drinks provided as a fundraiser from the freshman class. Babysitting is also being offered by the National Honor Society. And then if you go below here, this is our warrant articles. I can add some of the stuff that we've talked about, pictures in here, energy policy stuff, linked to the aggregate plan, and then anything else you think of, so. But it'll all be added in there by tomorrow. And
Great.
I have no idea what I was.
All right. That's okay. We're gonna move on.
Yes.
Okay. Final approval of executive office job descriptions.
Yes, so, you had already made changes to them before I threw in the, and decided to just do them all at once. So you have, let me go down in my folder. So in your folders under number 10, you have the minute taker, the executive assistant, the town administrator, the finance officer, and then the human resource officer / finance assistant. So you've already seen the minute taker before. I showed you the executive assistant at the last meeting.
Yeah.
The finance and HR, I showed you at the last meeting. The town administrator, I didn't change. It was, I think, the same job description when you hired me.
Yeah.
So, if you are good with those, then we put in the new terms in there, we put the new grade, not, with the hopes that everything goes forward, but if you're good with that, then these will be finalized and ready to go. I have not posted I posted the draft job description, but I wanna post the adopted one, so.
Okay.
So I just need a motion if you're good with that, or if anybody has any specific questions about them.
Need a motion to approve
The
them?
only-
Can we do it as one motion?
Yeah, and then we'll get to discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve the job descriptions for minute taker, executive assistant, town administrator, finance officer, human resources officer. And that's it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Scott. Les.
So the only thing on the executive assistant, we lead with produces the town report and coordinates process with staff and coordinates planning of annual town meeting. That's once a year. I don't feel like that's, I could be wrong, but I just don't feel like that's the lead-in when that's gonna be an isolated time that they do that.
I
Their
would agree with
regular
that.
duties are gonna come before that.
I could move those to the end of those bullets if you're okay with making that change.
Yeah.
As amended.
As amended.
Any other questions about them? Deb, do you have another question, Les?
Nope.
She looked pained.
All right.
No, I just got to the next page.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, abstentions, that is 5-0.
There they are.
All right. Chief, are you lonely tonight, or is there something else that's, okay. I just didn't want to keep you if you were getting on, needed to talk about something. Barbara Greenwood dedication discussion.
So this will kind of reopen our other discussion earlier before Carol got here as well.
Yes.
But we can start with Barbara. In your folder, under 11 SB, I did, based on our conversation at the last meeting, I reached out to the family. I got their votes for what they felt they would like to see, and they did not really want to see the historic town hall by the sounds. It wasn't brought up in any of their comments. The two things that they were good with was this meeting room or this building. So I'm bringing it back to the board.
Which document did you say? I didn't hear it.
So the first one you want to look at is the 11 SB.
11, okay, I was on
You
that.
are going to also want to look at 07 SBC. That was not in your meeting materials last night, and that was before you got here.
Okay.
So the question would be on Barbara's, obviously, which would, I don't know what thoughts you have, whether it would be this room or if it would be the building.
The building.
Yeah, I'm going to step out of protocol and make a motion to approve the naming of the Bristol town office, Barbara Greenwood, after Barbara Greenwood.
The entire building.
The whole
Yeah.
building, yeah.
Second.
Is there any, and you can figure out the exact wording or
We can
whatever.
pick that later, but we know that'll be the whole building.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous.
Yay! So going back to 07 SBZ, that would, Carol missed that earlier, but they're, just a really quick brief synopsis for you. The 230 Lake Street property there had been money given to the property given to the town to build a public meeting space / opera house.
What's 230 Lake Street?
The old town
The old town building, where the public safety building is.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So the town at the time went to court and petitioned the court to be able to use the money to build the then new town office building. And in that court agreement, there was this agreement that they had to keep a room open for available to the general public for musical rehearsals and concerts for limited audiences when not needed for public business.
Seeing it? Yeah.
There was a plaque at the building. When the building was torn down, the plaque was saved. It's in storage in one of the PD, in the My Box, I believe. Is that it's in a blue box or My Box?
Blue box, it's being,
I didn't get there. It's the blue box outside. Christopher Bean has confirmed that it's there. So we reached out to the town's attorney, and we have also confirmed that the town's attorney feels that we need to offer a space still, and that we could go to court to try to get out of this, but she didn't feel very confident that we would be able to.
We don't want to get out of it.
What?
We don't want to get out of it. It wouldn't be
No,
fair.
I'm just giving you your options.
No, yeah, that's not right.
So we had discussed whether it would be this room or the old town
Oh,
hall.
okay.
And I think the other folks on the board thought that the old town hall was appropriate because it lends itself to
Yeah.
that anyways.
And it's a backup music venue.
Yeah. With the stage and everything.
So we would get the plaque out of storage and then we would get that installed and,
I know that there was a conversation, and again, this is, and I'm gonna try to find it and lay the, way back in one of the Facebook discussions on the building, someone had mentioned something about that plaque, and I think they were even family,
Sounds vaguely
descendants
familiar,
of the original,
Yeah,
and were wondering what happened to it, and no one could answer at the time.
right. That sounds
And
familiar.
so I will try to find that and,
So, sorry, I think what you're talking about is there was a plaque for one of the trees.
yeah.
yes,
And we
you're
couldn't
right.
I know where that is.
You're
Well,
right.
and I say that for 2 or 1 because that's what I remember, but.
I was
part of
conflating-
Part of the petition to the court was looking for descendants of Mr. Mason.
Okay.
And
Not-
nothing in the 60s didn't come forward,
Okay.
so.
I was
not
conf-
that somebody couldn't have figured it out.
I think,
conflating the two, sorry.
I
well-
thought there's definitely a plaque just early on when they start the aerials or when they first started building the building, it was
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think it was a little marker at the base of one of the trees, right?
Well, now I need to confirm what this is, because the response I got is we took the one that was at the old entrance to the PD.
Okay,
Would we-
That's where that.
Which that's where that
the
plaque
Mason
was,
plaque
okay,
was,
so then that's the right plaque.
okay.
We do not know
What happened to
what
the other
happened
one?
to the one with the trees.
Yeah, okay.
Are we gonna hang that up before town meeting,
But I'm sorry,
before Tuesday?
no, because we're not gonna be able to get it out of the blue box.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't believe we can get it out of the blue box by then.
So if I'm reading this right, if this, for this Mr. Mason, it says in the paragraph here, which shall always be available to the general public, which that building will not be, right?
But can
we
be,
can
made to be available.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we usually close it for a period of time in the winter because it is very hard to heat, but if we had to open it, we could.
So they wanna, okay, no, I won't flog it.
There has been no use in that direction since
Yeah.
that building was
Yeah,
built,
yeah.
to my knowledge. Yeah. Okay, excellent.
Interesting.
Right. Well, it's kind of like the library building can only be used for a library, so.
Can you, if you can find out who that family was, it might be
I'll look to
good for us to
confirm,
try to find out
yeah,
what it was and
Yeah.
if there's something we should do for that.
to maybe redo it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Even a tree here or
yeah.
something, because we did plant the new trees up here on the, we planted the new tree on the, between the road and
Yeah.
the stuff, so we could potentially,
Yeah,
I just don't know how well they're gonna do,
yeah,
so, but it's something to think about.
okay.
I know it's my turn.
Sorry, can I just ask a question?
Yep.
Christina, because I'm probably gonna pick up. Did you have any comment in your report about what we got from Gruen as far as the video stuff goes?
I didn't get anything.
We talked about it at the public safety.
Oh, no, sorry, I didn't have anything, so let's touch base real quick. They haven't submitted anything yet, but.
Well, but just to the discussion about, the request was, could we take some of that time-lapse footage and put it into the slideshow? And that's
Yes, we
a service that they are contracting with a software company to formulate all that data and then produce it into a video, so it would probably be a couple $1,000 bill for us to generate that. So the thought process was between Dave and some other stuff, that we could probably get some of the various stage drone footage and potentially before then try and get it in there.
That'd be cool.
We have started gathering pictures too for a slideshow as people are coming in. There's quite a variety. Mark was not happy that I was putting the fire in, but putting the fire in. But and then I did find a couple of other pictures, older pictures today I'm putting in. I'm not telling who. But people look really young in these pictures. But we are going to try to take some of that footage as well, some of the pictures we have of the public safety building and put them in and have it just
That's cool.
slideshow cycling through at the beginning.
Nice.
Or if we have any intermission, we could
Right.
put that in as well. Hopefully we won't have intermission, we'll be done just as quick as last year.
Are we gonna do that on one of the school monitors
I did.
that they have?
What?
Is the school gonna let us use one of their big monitors to do that in the lobby area? Cause they,
No, we do it right in the big room, and we run it up on the TV thing until we start the meeting.
okay, well, what if we did it outside in the hallway also?
I could put it, but we don't have them, they have a TV up
Oh,
there.
they have a big, huge one in the LMC, it's touchscreen and it's,
Where's the LMC in the lobby, is that?
the LMC room is the library.
Oh,
They could wheel it out, it's a big,
Don't they
it's
have a big
a,
screen
They have
that
a big
comes
screen
down?
hanging on the wall.
it's a TV that's on a mobile setup like that,
We
that
can
whiteboard.
ask them.
The screen's big, I mean, there's something wrong with the one that's. we've been
No, I think
using?
he's talking about his people.
Right in the lobby, as
Come
people
into
come
the
into the
Oh, so
lobby of
they'd
the
be able
school,
to
they
see
can have,
the slideshow?
Yeah, we could run it in there and in the big room.
Yeah, I mean, they might wanna go in and sit and watch it. Unless you want, well, but
some
then if
people
we have
wanna
to,
stand and socialize,
the other
they
thing
do
is
enough
if we have to
sitting.
go out for a vote.
Right.
And the food's up there, and we could just leave it running
Yeah.
Good idea.
constantly, so.
I thought you were trying to bring it into the
Put
gym.
them back.
No.
Yeah. Where did I see that?
Take a couple of it.
TV
Someplace-
monitors running commercials, like,
Thank you.
No, and they're over the urinals.
See
Someone
that?
had posted,
oh,
like in Concord's, in one of the chain restaurants.
too much.
I know, like a lot of the sports stadiums have.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Alright,
Let's
sorry.
let's do this.
Let's start with the TA report. Employee department updates, assessing land use department. Conservation Commission, we have a resignation that came in after the consent agenda was sent for tonight, but I'd like to try and get that done by the select board as their new appointments that would have been approved. Bill Haskell has resigned. Conservation Commission,
Affected me.
it says possession. He's resigned his seat at the Conservation Commission as of February 16th. So if you could just accept his resignation tonight, that will help, so.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Bill Haskell from the Conservation
I'll
Commission.
second that.
So, oh, you already said.
Discussion, it's a loss because he had a lot of knowledge, but,
You did.
and for the record, thank him for helping us out, of course.
Where's that?
Just person.
A medical call, they just requested the ladder and rescue too, so. Interesting.
All right.
And give you a heads up to enforcement letters, the department has, the assessing land use department has sent out 20 letters regarding enforcement issues this past week. They are for various reasons of non-compliance, so
Okay.
in case anybody says anything. Under executive department, the February we didn't talk about February, I was late posting it, so February recognition, we posted and thanked the following. The fire department employees Gordon Ellenwood for 7 years, Dylan Keeler for 2 years, Stephen Kulatz for 2 years. Under police department employees, we have Steve Henry for 4 years, Seth Leonard for 1 year, and Michael Norberg for 2 years. In March, we have posted and thanked the following fire department employees: Christopher Dolliff, 26 years, Olivia Franklin, 1 year. Under highway transfer station employees, Mark Buckland, 31 years, town clerk tax collector's office. It's Cheryl Herbert, 2 years. I didn't put the name down. Oh.
31 years.
Yeah.
Website issue, we had that funky scrolling-ish page that we kept, every time we tried to pull up, we finally have fixed it. We believe it's fixed. It was a switch in the background that Civic Plus platform was able to address. We actually had to threaten and ask for a supervisor. I wasn't very nice in the email. And we ended up having a conference call with our IT company and them, and they were able to figure it out. I have the department heads watching, and if anybody here comes into it, please let me know immediately, and I can get right back to Civic Plus.
So it was on there.
Yeah. They kept pushing it back to us, so. Personnel manual.
Then it's back.
I got a page to sign. I can print it and do it before we leave. Under the personnel manual, we had talked about this last week and you had voted to change the wording. I had run it past the attorney and there's been an additional change. So the final wording is included in if you look under 12TA2. I just need you to approve it again. I have amended the date on the personnel manual and I had prepared a signature page for you to sign tonight, but the wording is in the manual. It pretty much is the same thing. He just added some wording into it that just says, he changed it slightly to say, we still have it ending, only allowed to happen during annual open enrollment. However, if there is a change of status, event, marriage, death in the family, they're allowed to also do opt out or opt in if they need to. So we fixed that. The other piece of it was the $7,000 per plan. This amount will be prorated for coverage canceled partway through a plan year. He has to say the words prorated, but it's the way we're doing it. It's their paycheck if they end up stopping.
Right.
So. And then he said, to be payable on a prorated basis in biweekly installment payments through payroll. No retroactive payments will be allowed. So the rest of it you already have seen, so if you're good with that, I'll print a page before we leave and have you sign it. And I just need a vote.
Do you need it done tonight to save you doing that? Do you have to do it tonight?
I don't have to do it tonight, but if Sean's not here, then I have to explain it to whoever the new member is again. But if you could vote it tonight, I can get the page signed.
It's gonna save you work, that's all.
We could sign it Tuesday, correct?
Actually, you can sign the page anytime. I can bring it to town meeting and you can sign it.
Yeah.
So I just need the vote tonight.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Make a motion to approve the amendment to the personnel manual,
Section 15.
section 15,
Health
Second.
insurance stipend.
health insurance stipend.
Second.
Second by Rob. Any further discussion? God, I hope not. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That is 5-0.
The old saying, it takes a village.
It's a good thing there's 5 of us here.
Oh, good grief. Lost my spot. Return checks. I emailed you about an issue that we had, with my first AP run. I've addressed it, caught it in time. There were 4 checks. At the time I emailed you, I didn't know how many. I've taken care of them. I've contacted all 4, and we've voided the bad check, we voided the error check, not a bad check. The money was there, and we reissued to take care of those vendors. Actually, we reissued the 4th today, so. Open positions, we've started receiving submissions for the 2 open positions. I would like to talk to you about creating a subcommittee to interview anyone that we are going to grant interviews to so far. Thoughts on the committee was 1 or 2 select board members, myself, one department head, and 1 outside member. And I put those names because you notice you got thrown in? But it doesn't have to be that. I just suggested it when I did interviews in my assessing and land use department. This is what we did. We did 3-member committee. I created questions and a scoring sheet.
Yeah.
So I would do the same thing. But I wanted to double check if you had other thoughts for this. In your folders under the Excel, and I'm not sharing this because there's a person, I'm not sharing this in the public because there are some people who might be watching this who are on this list, so you can look at it and ask me any questions. But this is what we've received so far. There's 2 tabs on the Excel sheet. It's TA3. The first tab is the finance officer position. I've reviewed the ones we've received so far. I've scored them and commented whether I thought they should get an interview or not. And then some notes on the end. And I did the same exact thing with the HR finance position.
Second one from the bottom, that's
What
interesting.
The reading.
On both, yeah. Oh, you mean on the finance officer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said no.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
Just saying it's interesting.
yeah. And also on the next one,
Yeah.
so. We can talk a little bit more about this in the non-public session, but I wanted to talk about the committee in the public part. Whether you thought it would, what you thought of that.
Oh, wow, there's a name from the past.
Yeah, did you see that?
The end one?
No,
Under the HR
the
one.
4th one down under HR.
Oh, wait, I'm not in
I don't think
HR.
I know
Let me
that.
put it-
I can explain the scoring more
Oh, yeah.
in non-public because I
Wow,
don't think
yeah.
we should talk about that.
No,
But-
sure.
But the committee idea, is there a board member who would like to do this?
Sorry, now what?
So the committee idea, is there a board member who would like to participate in interviews?
I could try, if you, scheduling wise, it might be a little tricky.
Yeah, I kind of in the same boat.
Okay,
I'll
what
probably-
I could certainly, when we figure out what we're doing for interviews, I can certainly reach out to both and see what works
Okay.
for me to
Yeah.
interview. Do you have any
You'll
preference
have
on the
you'll have
department?
another option by that time too.
What?
Right,
Another option.
You'll have another option
A
for
new
board
person.
member by
Oh,
that
that's
time
right.
too.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Department head, I was leaning towards Ben. If he, I thought that he would be a good.
Yeah.
And then and an outside member of the community. I wasn't sure if we needed to do that, but I put that in there.
I think it's a good idea.
And I put the.
I'm not volunteering.
I know.
I'm actually a notoriously bad interviewer. I
So
don't know
the
what it
first
is.
person I think would be a good
Yeah,
interviewer.
I think so.
And I think if his, explain a little later too.
Yeah.
But I thought that first person would be a good person. So
Okay.
Which one's that?
look in the parentheses under one outside member. You did on the TA report.
Yeah.
That
Where are
one.
we? TA report,
TA is page. It's number 12. There you go.
I just lost the TA report.
under.
so did I, what did I do with it?
Under it's on
TA
this
report.
page. It's open positions. If you look at the bottom of the paragraph.
Open positions.
What did I do with it? God.
Yeah.
I will spit that out.
Tomorrow, finance office person.
What?
TA report 3724, that's the only one,
And-
right?
Yeah.
I had it, now it's closed.
Yeah,
Is it
that's
this one?
it. Yeah.
Jesus, I'm tired.
Oh, yeah, to be the interview. Yes, but we don't have to.
So what are we talking about
To be on the committee to interview.
now? Yeah.
Oh, he couldn't,
Thank you.
actually, that person can't.
Oh, right.
If, that person, to be the outside member probably can't do the HR one.
Because he's already.
No, look on the HR list,
Oh yeah.
so.
Yeah. Okay.
We can think about it more, but if you had suggestions for an outside member,
We'll find somebody.
All right.
I'll skip ahead. New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services decision on lake levels. We have not been notified yet that they have appealed that decision there, but it was in the article.
They have not appealed. It is
No.
their decision
Oh,
has
yes.
been appealed.
The people from Hebron, I believe.
Yeah.
And could be areas as well. There are approximately 9 people. it was in a newspaper article that they have appealed the Department of Environmental Services decision.
Yeah.
So, we have been notified. that it's
Decision was to
appealed.
return to the original,
They weren't making any
they
changes.
weren't making any changes.
To the lake
Just
level.
pretty much do that.
So, welfare department, I just want welfare's reported an increase in applications. We're not sure how that's gonna affect us yet, but we just wanted to keep the board in the loop.
We anticipate.
Fire department, Pulse Point AED app is a new, I put it on, where did I put it? I'm trying to hurry. So, we put an app on the post, we put a news item, but it's early defibrillation during a sudden cardiac event is a critical link in the American Heart Association's chain of survival. What this app offers is if there are AEDs within the community, if you've seen, so you should be able to see them on the app. And if you have an AED in the community that is not on the app, then you can
This
you can
is
submit that to be added.
anywhere you are?
Yep,
That's cool.
yep.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah, so, they felt that the Pulse Point is a powerful tool to build, manage, and mobilize emergency AED registry. So, these consider helping us enhance the AED network and maintain Bristol as a heart-safe community.
Yep.
So,
How many do we own, does town have?
we have, in this building currently, one thing we have to remember for next week, so we have one downstairs, we installed one upstairs, but it is a portable unit. So when you are having voting, it should be
Yeah.
be brought up there.
Yeah.
We forgot to do that the last election. That was the intent of that, is so we wouldn't have to run downstairs through all the coded doors for one. And two, when you're
Yeah.
up there, it's available if something is up there.
Do we have one at the highway department?
We,
I don't
I don't know.
think so.
We should.
Should have one at the dump.
We don't have one in part of the water sewer department, we were talking about putting one there. We do have one in the transfer station.
Oh, there,
I
that's
do-
so.
So I do think we have one in the, we do have one in the highway department. The reason we put one in the transfer station, because by the time they ran up to the highway department
Yeah,
and got the unit and brought it back, we were concerned. So,
don't say it.
be nice.
I was like,
Water
I was
sewer,
watching what you were gonna say.
Oh, so this,
So the search for Bristol, New Hampshire has no results for AEDs.
so they're asking you to register them, help
Yeah.
save, locate and
Yeah.
So we
register
need to
them.
register.
We
Yeah,
have-
so I have it on here.
we haven't registered any of ours, I
Oh,
don't
that's-
believe.
No.
Matt,
They're on here.
okay, Matt O'Neill has done a good job of trying to get this up and running, so.
Maybe so. Did you find it, Rob?
I actually have the app, which says I need to update it.
So the center just purchased a new one too, so, well,
That's
so we have two now.
Very cool.
Oops.
And hopefully soon we'll have one at Slim Baker.
Yes, that's right.
So we are looking at adding one at the water sewer, because I think there's one in one building, but by the time you get to the building and get back because we think it should be in the lower office and one in the big building
Yeah.
above, because by the time you get back and forth between either your emergency services there or you may be too late,
Yeah.
so.
What do they cost?
They're very expensive. We just bought, the reason that we bought the one we did here was because there was no way we were getting downstairs
So if you
through
wanna
all the doors.
pass that around, that shows all the AEDs near you.
Does it show the ones in Bristol?
Yep.
Oh, I gotta do.
So
go
you,
get
you
the
are,
app then.
or somebody's registered these?
I'm registered on, well, I am, right, Matt
Some-
O'Neill's working on
Yeah,
that
that's
program,
pretty
I just
cool.
happen to have the app. But there's also another app on there, there's a CPR app on there,
Wow,
that,
oh, that's nice.
if CPR is in progress somewhere and you're, your CPR is certified, it'll alert you if you're near somewhere that CPR is, and the idea is to integrate it with
awesome.
911. So that if you're, like, say you're at the coffee shop downtown, it's like,
Yeah.
you get an alert, like, CPR,
One at the library,
whatever, and you can go across the street and help.
Wow.
the elementary school,
that.
TTCC,
Oh, so Matt did put us in there.
Yeah.
Bristol Town Office, Bristol Baptist Church.
There's a couple up towards the lake, I think.
Yeah,
So now,
Mayhew's got one.
how do we get, who has that list? How do we get those? Or is it individual?
You gotta get the app.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
but how then do we get the local stuff on the app?
It's on
It's
there.
on
It's
there, once
on.
you download the
Yeah, I
app.
think, and you may be
Oh,
able
so
to.
wherever you are.
You have to have your location services
Got it,
on,
got it.
and permission
Of
given
course
to
you
that
do.
app.
They wanna know where I'm going.
Highway Department transfer station, while you guys are looking at the boat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Road bans, I emailed you just to let you know, but I figured for the public, the state has posted weight limit restrictions on state roads as of March 4th, which is Monday.
that's really neat. That's really
That affects West Shore Road, from the junction of 3A in Bristol to North Shore Road in Hebron, Cardigan Mountain Road from the junction of West Shore Road in Bristol to the Bristol Alexandria Town Line, and part of River Road. The town has also posted town roads effective March 4th, so any town roads are, not the downtown area, but any town roads on the outskirts are posted as well. What Mark has done differently this year, it has marked Hemp Hill Road and Hemlock Brook Road as roads closed, local traffic only. And the intent is to limit the traffic on the roads. There, Hemp Hill especially is used as a cut through. So it is so that's what he was hoping, the closing to local traffic only will help reduce the damage to those roads. It is anticipated that the rain will help push the frost out of the ground and speed up the drying, so we're hoping we'll be able to release them earlier than we normally do, so. Hemlock Brook Road during last night's storm, the Beaver Dam area washed out again. So, they're repairing it, but we had mentioned previously, we believe we need to add a second culvert, and Mark's gonna move forward with that in, spring, summer approximately. Under TA6, you have the NRA activity report. If you'd like to take a look at it, it shows the baling wire, CMD, and MSW through the end of January. I'm not gonna, the Minot Super Library is having some staffing changes, I'll just let you read that. Events, town events, spring clean dance, community events committee is hosting a dance at the historic town hall on Saturday, March 23rd from 7 to 10 p.m. Club Soda Band is playing, ages 21 and over are allowed, and refreshments will be provided, and there will be a cash bar. Events wanted, the events committee is soliciting the 2024 spring and summer brochure. If you are a non-profit organization holding an event in the Newfound region between, I stole Les's thunder, Memorial Day and Labor Day, you could be included in the next brochure. Events must be open to all and either organized by or benefiting a nonprofit organization. Free events open to the community by a for-profit business may be considered if space allows. The deadline for submission is April 12th. More information can be found on the town's website or on the event committee's Facebook page. Other events. Gunstock free skiing, riding day for veterans. I got this from one of the representatives. So Monday, March 18th, free skiing, riding at Gunstock for veterans includes lift path. We posted it too on the homepage.
I mean, it's a great thought. After hearing reports, with
Okay.
more rain this weekend,
Probably won't happen.
it's gonna be done soon.
Includes free lunch.
Yeah, so if they're advertising, you can go to hang out.
Right, have a free lunch.
They do have to RSVP if you need equipment, it was by today, but if you didn't need equipment, it was by March 13th, so. Daylight Savings Time reminder, Sunday, March 10th, we spring forward 1 hour. In your packets under 1210 TA 10A, there are 3 New Hampshire Department of Energy newsletters you're welcome to read. We are working on a submission to Congresswoman Annie Custer's office for fiscal year 2025 community projects for the Pemmy Path. Before I complete that, I just wanted to bring it back to the board. That is the congressional directed spending. So we did apply for the same program through a different congressperson last year. So I'm gonna try to get this, I have to get it done tomorrow, it's due tomorrow, so I just wanted to let you know that we were doing that. The other thing is that they have created a white paper. It's under TA 1211. It's not bad. I didn't think there was anything really bad in the whole article, but just wanted to have you take a look at it and see. And here's the last piece of news. So Army Corps and I have been talking. They would like to propose a partnership.
Okay.
I don't have all, I'm gonna forward you this email because I don't have all the details in my brain right now. But the partnership we wouldn't have to do the MOU. There's also some indication we wouldn't have to do all of the testing, they would. We would develop the path, they would, and the agreement would be, and I'm throwing examples out, the agreement would be they would do signage and gates and be responsible for it, and we would coordinate every year, and they'd put money aside, and we would do maintenance and certain things. So that's what they're proposing, the partnership for us, if
So-
we're interested.
In other words, they're getting heat. And so that's good.
That
Yes,
will cost us less, sounds like.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I have an email from her. It says, as mentioned during our call, some district positions have changed and we are now proposing a new mechanism of a challenge partnership instead of leasing the area. A challenge partnership is a collaboration with each party contributing to the costs associated with the trail. I have attached a recent one that shows what one between the town of Bristol and USACE could look like. If you find that it is more acceptable route, let me know and I can work on drafting one. A quick breakdown of what I think I'd include in the partnership with shared duties. Town of Bristol put the trail design, updated map, operations and maintenance plan, purchase and installation of culverts, bridges, walkways, gates, ledge pack trail material, ongoing maintenance costs. Note, phase 2 site assessment is no longer needed. Note, can be issued over DNCR,
Department
Division of
of
Natural
Conservation Resources.
license.
Yeah.
And then USACE would do environmental assessment. It's a 3-month process. The department has availability now. Costs associated with review of documents. So she would put estimates in here. So the environmental assessment, she's saying would cost maximum $25,000, 3 months process, and they can do it now. Costs associated with review of documents, $4,000, prepare draft challenge partnership, and all the signage.
That's what they would pick up?
I mean, we are carrying a hefty
Yeah.
piece of it, but it
We would
takes out,
anyways.
we would anyways, right? So it takes out quite a bit of it.
Oh, look at that being all.
Finally.
Well, so if you want to continue with the lease, this is what we would have to do. Phase 2 site assessment, environmental assessment, USACE will not complete one on town's behalf. Updated map, operations and maintenance plan, purchase and installation of all that, ongoing maintenance costs, and pay USACE, review lease development costs, unknown.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, you definitely want to do
it really sounds like they've come a long way.
Does Bill know?
I mentioned it to him on the phone, but I haven't been able to forward it to him. It's been a zoo, so I will forward it to all of you to take a look at what she said. I will forward it and get it to Bill. So
That's excellent. That's a
it is
really
excellent.
positive development.
Yeah, it'll be quicker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing is kind of,
We're applying for this and we're applying for one other. I think there's another one due next week
Yeah.
as well.
Shaheen has something and.
I think so. Custer's this one, I think it was Shaheen he mentioned. They did go out and do the interviews with area businesses. They have 25 signed on,
nice.
ranging from Bristol to Bridgewater, and I don't think Hebron was on the list, but I'll have to look.
Yeah.
But they had 25 that believe the path will benefit their businesses in the Newfound region, so.
Beautiful.
That's great.
So no, they're a very gung-ho group.
Good.
Awesome. Good.
Did you announce
Really
that
good news.
hiring
Oh, not yet, no.
while you're on to your work? I just thought of that.
Forward TI email.
Were you sending the evaluation to
Sean sent me it already. but
I sent it to her.
I didn't read
I
it.
copied mine,
Yeah,
printed it.
I didn't read it.
Oh,
okay.
It was awful.
I read it.
When
So-
do you need those by?
You're
Val?
not-
So I had
No,
COVID.
tonight.
Oh,
We sent
And-
it to him.
I had COVID a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm down in my office, and she sends the evaluation. I'm like, wow, I got nothing else to do. I'll do this. And I sent it off, and I'm like, hey, I'm just sitting here, bored out of my mind, so I did your TA report. I sent it to myself.
And so when I said something to him, he was
She's like, I never got it. I said, I sent that to you weeks ago.
I'm like, no, you didn't.
am I the only one that didn't do it?
COVID brain.
Oh,
I don't know.
oh, so maybe we should table that?
No, Sean's gone. You have to do it with Sean.
Oh, alright.
We'll get through it. Okay.
So, I think that's it. I can't,
That's good news.
let me just make
Yeah,
sure.
that's awesome. Can't
Yeah,
believe-
I think that's it.
Did that come in just
I
today?
have something like, what?
Did that come in just today?
This week. I just haven't had time to get back to it.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you
So
said you had
TA
one other thing?
TA report under police department.
Oh, yeah. So, I have to open up the name because I'm having a mind blank. We do also would like to announce that we filled one of the vacant positions of the police department. A conditional offer has been issued and accepted to a Michael, my page just disappeared, Greer. And he will be joining the police department on April 1st.
Good.
We will bring him into probably,
Me and Green.
Oh,
no, we'll do the swearing in. Usually they do the swearing in at the select board meeting, but I'll find out for sure.
Okay. Is that it?
I think so.
Select board items, Les.
Just that, it's not mud season, I have spring fling dance at Old Town Hall on March 23rd from 7 to 10 with Club Soda Band, and the Homestead will be doing a bar, and there'll be light snacks. And it's donations at the door.
Okay. Carol?
No, nothing.
Rob?
Nothing.
Scott?
Planning board met last week. We had a discussion on zoning in the Lake District. And we're looking, part of that discussion was buildings are conforming to the height restrictions, but there's discussion on, there's arguments, points can be made if you wait a year and tear down the building. Or you tear down the building, then you wait a year, then there's no height restriction.
There was a not necessarily misinterpretation, but we believe that the zoning ordinance has been changed and the wording got changed and it did not do what the planning board thought it was supposed to do all this time.
Yeah.
So we have a very contentious case who, they're withdrawing, by the way. We had a very contentious case, I just found out, that was going to be able to go up in height, even though they were in the Lake District. It was a way the wording was, the attorney and I reviewed it and I went back to the planning board and said, this wasn't the intent. So the planning board came up with some interesting discussion about what we should do to fix it or not, so.
Okay.
You did have a really great presentation from Resilience Planning on the land use chapter?
Land use chapter of the master plan. And do we have, yes, do we vote? No, we didn't vote to. She's gonna make a few changes.
Yes, just.
Still working on it, still work in progress, but we,
What's close?
I think she got the structure, the framework done. We made a few tweaks, and so it was a good work session. And then she'll present. I don't know time frame. She didn't say, did she?
No, I don't remember. No.
But it's part of the updating the master plan, and it's all good discussion. I think the number she threw out down the road master plan was 200 and 3 units?
That's Lakes Region Planning Commission's.
Yeah.
Lakes Region Planning
Recommendation.
Commission's recommendation for Bristol is 200 and something.
Right.
270 units is Lakes Region Planning's. But I think she was able to reduce it.
Yeah.
Is
From
that
what Bill had said.
in the next 10 years or
Lakes Region Planning says sooner.
really?
I don't remember what their deadline was, I'd have to look it up, but they said it's needed, I think, sooner than that, but I don't remember if it was 10 years or not.
Yeah. All right.
And other than that, we didn't have any cases this week. I think it's good.
I'll present the parsonage property to the planning board next Wednesday. I
I
have
already talked to them about
no,
that.
I have to present it, they have to vote, you have to vote and make a recommendation. There's a process and with this.
For the town, no.
So in order for the town to purchase any property,
Yeah, it's
you have
got
to present to the Conservation Commission,
Right.
the Planning Board, get their recommendations first. Then you hold 3 public hearings, and they have to be a very specific amount of time. I scheduled those, we're gonna have to have a special meeting, I think I think I scheduled them to work, but they're starting after town meeting. You have to have them within a certain time frame, or you have to start over. So,
Oh, after we vote on the
yeah,
yes.
I'm just presenting
Oh,
to
okay.
Conservation and Planning, cause it's done then, and then we can start, so.
Yeah.
Oh. There was one thing I said I'd bring up. What was it?
No idea.
No, I can't remember.
I have something for planning board and non-public.
You can think about it. I got a whole list.
Okay.
I do. I know.
I have
I know it's my
I
last.
think I already asked you the question beforehand.
I can't remember. I did have one more.
Yep.
So Garrett Grasscamp did get in touch with me from the Fish and Game.
Yep.
They have appointed myself, and I think Bill Dowie, and one other person to, let me see if it says. They appointed 3 of us to the to the meeting. We got appointed by the governor. It was. Andy, doesn't say what the last name is. It says, good afternoon, Andy, Ned, and Christina. So it was Ned Gordon, myself, I don't know who Andy is. But the 3 of us were appointed by the governor and the executive council. They are going to hold the hearings here. They said they need to conduct 3 public hearings required for the transfer of the Mooney Clark right-of-way to them. I believe that the deed for the ownership of the land is already being taken care of. He said, I think it is most appropriate to convene the hearing in Bristol. I expect the meetings will draw a maximum of 25 people, which I figured this room should be sufficient. He's asking for a recommendation. So we should be having those.
Until you get 25 people. Until you get 10.
But, so we will begin those hearings here. I'll make sure when we'll post them once they're.
Yeah.
I haven't responded to him yet, but I will.
Okay, Scott.
I do remember having a discussion on downtown, or businesses in town in general. And the business owner asked, and I didn't know the answer, and I said I'd find out. So the business owners pay a business tax to the state.
Rooms and meals.
Do we get a portion of that allotted, allocated back to the town?
I think we do now. There was a period of time where rooms and meals wasn't being paid, and we are now.
Right.
Do
We
you
got it
know
this-
that figure or percentage or?
I don't know what the percentage is. I can tell you what the total is that we got. I can probably figure out the percentage.
Because she was in conversation, is like, well, if, why incentivize having businesses in your town if you're not reaping any benefits from them?
Right.
So,
That same business owner, because I talked to them this morning, had done some research and found the amount
okay.
that came back to the town.
We got a total of 200, oops, I just lost, sorry. I just made the screen bigger and lost it. For 2023, we got a total of $306,713.
Yeah, so that's a real number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
so.
Is that Does it classify like the businesses?
That's
Is it
just from-
No, we just get
Yeah.
a check.
Right.
We get a check. We don't get a check, we get an ACH transfer.
Is that, so from Meals and Rooms, so that's restaurants only?
No, that would be I think
Restaurants,
it's
hotels.
rooms, so it's hotels.
Right.
I think it's bed and
But
breakfast.
it's not Frudenberg.
No,
No.
it's anything that you pay tax on
With
at the
the food,
convenience
right,
store,
Right.
a
Delis,
restaurant,
yep.
And hotel rooms. Yeah.
Where
So
does that
we-
go? Where is that money?
It goes into our revenues.
So it does show,
That's
it
really good.
is a line in
It's
revenues?
about 80 cents that you would be.
It's in our,
Okay.
80
so if
cents
you
more
look,
than you would be paying.
And what's the line number on the, well,
Oh.
not line number, what's the line title in the revenues?
I don't know what it is in in the MS 737, but in our revenue report, it's state shared revenue block grant,
Okay.
roads and meals.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to look at that. One, just for the public's purpose, we found out today that the titles are wrong.
Oh, no.
We caught everything else, but the title on the page for the budget says 2023 and the MS 737 says 2023. They are 2024 documents though, even the warrant says 2023, but her title's at the top. I think it got confused that this is a 2023 report.
Right.
And so the titles at the top are wrong, but the documents are correct, so.
It's all the math.
The only thing that was missing is they took the signature page off of the MS 737, but it's posted on the website.
So you'll go through each box and
Insert,
those out.
we're gonna insert each page.
slash 24.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
done talking.
Uh-oh, he's got a list.
I do, I got a
He does.
list. It's not bad.
I put the email from in the folders if you want.
Okay, yeah.
If you, when you get to that one.
In the same vein with the building, Christina went to the historic district. I think that was between our last meeting, correct?
We didn't talk about it.
We probably didn't talk about it.
No.
Christina went to the historic district. They had some concerns about taking down that building, as you would expect, the biggest being a historical building in the downtown. It was brought up about potential dwelling units, and it was also brought up about, well, if you're gonna take it down, why go halfway? Why not put the whole park in? I said, well, I have to sell it to the
Put the whole,
instead of just making a green space there, actually do it, replant, and, have a plan for it. I said, well, that can come down the road.
decided to wait, hold off on
Yeah.
that.
But mostly it's an objection to taking down a historical building in town. Which is not unexpected from their perspective. Cooperation with the town of Alexandria. Been talking with one of their selectmen. So there's several items. One, they would like to place signage on the Bristol side of Bristol Hill Road, warning about traffic. What they would contact you, but basically that's a dangerous area up there where Hemp Hill goes off.
Oh, the intersection.
Yeah, and yes.
Further down.
And further down, they would, but they want to warn people back, as far as possible. So they're willing to, put the signs in, buy the signs, put the signs in, but it's on our side of the line. I said I didn't think that was an issue, but I would bring it up and we would follow up on that. And I haven't talked with Mark yet. I've been meaning to talk with Mark and
So they want to put it on the downhill side?
No, well, before you.
going up the hill on the right-hand side
Yeah.
before the town line.
And
So they
then-
want to put signage there.
Yes,
And further up possibly, because there's two
So
intersections.
just like a warning?
yes, yeah.
Why wouldn't we do that?
I don't know.
Why would we let them pay for it?
Well, I'm fine with that too, but.
Yeah. So, just in spirit of cooperation, I don't think there's any issue there, and they have a real worry about that area.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
But speaking of that road, can we, in spirit of cooperation, can we get together and determine, the road is two different names, and theirs town is it's Hemp Hill 2 words, and Weir Hemp Hill, 1 word, I think.
I'm sure that can be,
And it's 911 has asked us to fix it in the
Okay.
past, and we haven't done anything.
That's a good-
so.
that's a good point. The other thing with the town of Alexandria is they are really interested in seeing what they can do with the town of Bristol to share more resources. Including doing more with cans, even like cans at transfer station, and stuff like that. So I think it behooves the board to talk with their board about
Good God.
Okay.
Bless you.
about what we can do.
We
Towards
have a regional board meeting.
Agreed, and they're very much for that, and don't even invite Bridgewater because they
Ju-
always say no to everything. So don't.
I mean, we could just specifically just talk with Alexandra.
Yeah,
Why don't we
They
do
do,
that?
we do share the
Is that what, a 3-person board?
they do. Yeah.
So,
Who else?
Bob, Chet, and the gentleman, him and his wife have the horse farm. Yeah.
so we should.
Oh, Todd Hill?
Todd Hill, thank
Brings
you.
their check
Yeah.
to us also,
yeah.
correct?
Hebron pays
I know
a
who it
fee.
is, but
They
I
pay a fee, but maybe we should invite
Somebody-
them to the conversation, so if they wanna contribute their recyclables.
We could invite them to a select board meeting.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a problem.
We've had a regional meeting in the past, and I think it's worth doing again because I think that, especially with Alexandria, they really are looking at ways that they can. There's no need for them to reinvent the wheel if we're already doing something, even if it means a charge that would cost them less than what they're doing
Right.
otherwise.
Maybe, I think you're right, maybe just start with them.
Yeah.
Keep it,
Yeah.
But I thought include Hebron because they're already,
Well, Hebron's already,
We can
their
expand
contract
on it
goes
after
through.
we meet with them.
right, but that'd be good for them to maybe, they can promote or.
One of the things, we did talk to Hebron already, their contract expires next year. We talked to them about buying stickers through us from now on, because then we all have the same color
Yeah.
sticker all the time, so, and
Uh,
they agreed, so.
And towards the same end, Alexandria has a lot of road concerns. Bristol has a lot of road concerns. And the meeting of the NLRA at the library the other night indicated that they have a lot of road concerns. And so I think the 3 of those organizations could get together, and if NLRA can take care of grants and funding for the engineering, then you can start that program of, instead of just repaving everything every time,
Yep.
getting the ditches where they need to be, sizing up the culverts, dealing with the driveway ditches, the driveway culverts. So I think that's a real opportunity.
So we could have that same conversation?
Yep,
Invite
at the same
department,
time,
invite
and you could
the-
invite NLRA for a certain portion of it.
You do have something to report on the NLRA conversation, that meeting? Store Drive? Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Got it.
So those items. There's still a boat in the area down below the transfer station.
Yes.
We had talked about
Oh, there's a lot worse.
that should not be personal storage.
I sent an email to her, I don't believe I've heard back. I told them that they've got stuff stored right up to the burn pit.
Yeah.
Parking vehicles up to the burn pit. They've got rugs, and I did see the boat again.
Yeah.
But somebody thought the boat was ours, and I said, I don't think we store our boat there. I thought we stored our boat with Greg.
Let's confirm that before we,
Yeah.
but
But I,
regardless,
Who's storing stuff there?
the cable people.
Oh,
so I sent an
Oh.
email on,
employees.
That may be the fire department though.
that's what I was thinking, because someone else said that.
Okay, well, let's confirm that, but the boat is what stuck out to me. Because we had talked, because there was a boat there previously that was not ours.
I think they moved that,
Okay.
but I did reach out to her on Friday.
It's not a dumping ground and it's not a storage area either.
I said in less than a month, this area will be reopening to the public and the storage space continues to overflow into the town space.
Yeah.
And it's starting to block access to the areas. We can barely get highway vehicle in on some days, and if we needed to burn in the burn pit, there are too many items being stored right up against the pit. Over the next few weeks, we are going to have that area cleaned up and material moved back away from the gate, entryway, and burn pit. Unfortunately, since the last time we talked and emailed about the space, it has gotten worse.
Yeah.
So she hasn't responded, it's been a
Okay.
week, so I think I'm going to have to
Okay,
issue
just something I
another-
noticed the other day. And then lastly, was the second letter to the person up on,
I think so.
did that go out?
I think so, yes. I will follow up and make sure.
Please do.
It's been,
Yeah.
On top of the hill.
Yeah,
been a little crazy, so.
yeah,
If not, we will resend
tell you in
one.
a second, yeah.
Okay.
Please follow, and that's what I have.
I do have one after all. The candidates night, somebody was going on about the beach, the handicapped access at the beach, and we've talked about this. And then unfortunately, the conversation went to, yes, there was a $200,000 engineering plan, and Don brought that up, which is true. But again, and I know you're gonna move the handicap spots, but in my mind, I drove down, there'd be like maybe four places where you could have it. It doesn't have to be just a place that people can walk without rocks.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be fine on the far end, so I think we should consciously follow up and do this.
So
How, I don't know.
I know what I heard I listened to, this is what I spent my ride to
Yeah.
Rochester listening to this morning, the candidates night, but I was listening to that, and one of the things that needs to be taken into consideration, and just so people understand, you can't even so much as stick a shovel in the sand down there
No, you
without
gotta-
going through the shoreline.
You gotta do the permitting process, yeah, absolutely, that's why.
So it's,
And we can do it after the fact.
yeah, it's just not sure.
That would not be pretty down there.
It's just, it's not as simple as
Oh, I know.
No, no,
It's a lay person
It's
meeting.
frustratingly, stupidly
Yes.
complicated.
Okay, so to move forward on that, can one of us, some of us get together with Mark and say, let's drive down that road and pick 4 spots where we could put a path as a starting point, and then we can start the permitting process saying, we'd like to,
We only have
Not-
2 handicap parking spaces.
it doesn't even matter, but just places for people to walk. You know, one by the handicap spots, but all the way up and down, just, what would it take with a backhoe and to, I know you need the permit, I get that.
Wait, I just in trouble and you're talking about backhoe.
I mean, what would it take to move some of the large boulders and just, even if it's just sand? It's not the first time we've heard this, we've heard this a lot of times, so.
If we're gonna put a ramp down.
Yeah, even if you could put a temporary ramp.
Is Cummings Beach a problem?
Say again?
Is Cummings Beach a problem at all?
I thought there was access,
That's
there's
access.
stairs there.
There are stairs there.
There's
There's barely
stairs
a beach
over,
left there.
Right.
there's
But-
stairs over
At-
at the far end, the exit end. But there's something on the front end.
I thought we built stairs there, like 2 sets.
Well,
One or
on the
two
front
sets.
end, it's like a step and then a slant and then a step and then a slant. It's not, that's not great for handicap. And you've got the stairs in the middle.
That was designed because that whole bank was cut off and
Yeah.
had pipes sticking out of it. And that's what people were using as a beach
I
access.
mean,
But anyway,
that's what
that's-
I was thinking, hearing that was, could we even have like temporary stairs that go in and out like a dock does?
Right.
They do make those handicapped accessible so that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get out there and have, yeah.
I'm just thinking, so people can get from the road to the sand. That's a starting point that costs us almost nothing to do.
It's not even so much, and it would be great to have wheelchair access onto the beach, but it's also just a matter of not having to climb over rocks
Yes.
when you're
Right.
maybe 80 years old and can't.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So who wants to do that? With Mark?
I can bring them in to talk to the board as well.
I don't wanna make this complicated, and it can't be this, it can't
But
be
if
this
you have,
complicated.
so you're gonna have a plan in place because to send it to DES, you have to have a plan for them.
Put a picture off here and we'll draw some, I mean,
Can we ask Ashland what they went through for theirs?
Oh, they put a retaining wall in.
That's what I'm saying, can we ask them?
But theirs doesn't have handicap access, isn't it stairs?
This is what.
flat.
No, but having structured stairs that are ADA compliant and also a ramp would both be improvements for everybody down there.
And I don't disagree with that, but what I'm saying is, that won't get done this year.
No.
We don't have any.
Right, I'm saying, this year, we can draw a plan.
Yeah.
We don't have to hire an engineer to draw a plan.
You're not gonna get the permit approved this year.
You might, if it's simple enough. If it's simple enough, you might.
I'm not saying it's not worth trying, but I'm just drawing on past experience.
Okay, so we can take care, we can do this.
I'll meet with Mark.
Let's meet with Mark, we can do this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go meet because you're gonna need somebody to drop your
I
plans.
mean, I'm okay if you wanna take it to the nth degree, yeah, that's good, that's fine, that's great. We have a plan, right?
Yeah, well, that one's dead in the water.
But I'm saying, it was rebuilding the walls and the culverts, and it was,
Wasn't
it's
that
public
a
bathrooms and.
it was what Don was talking about at the candidate tonight.
Was that Avery Cross? I thought that was Cummings.
No, it was Avery Crouch. This is years ago.
Yeah, $1 million project.
Yeah. Yeah.
One, two other things really quick from the candidates night. Came up about USPS park, the post office parking.
Oh, did it again?
Yes.
Same person?
And they complained that there's not enough parking, but we don't own, the post office owns their spot, the state owns our spot, all we do is plow
There was a complaint months ago on
on the
Facebook.
pothole.
No, about maybe it was a year ago, about, she was complaining that the post office parking isn't general parking and people shouldn't be allowed to park there
Oh, we
and
talked about this. That's
and
right.
go somewhere else,
Right.
and I answered her that actually that
It
that is public
is.
parking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that is the state does own that lot,
The
correct?
state owns it.
Yeah.
We
don't.
maintain it.
We
right.
just plow it.
Yeah, we don't even maintain it, we plow it.
We just plow it.
Yeah, they mow it. Yeah. Okay.
So, and then the other question was insurance costs, if we go out to RFP all the time or not. We did not go out to RFP this year. We didn't have alternative solutions, and we also do not have staff. And it takes a lot, because we're halfway through the year, you have to budget a year and a half
Yeah.
when you change to a new vendor, so we didn't do that this time. We can certainly look at that when we have a new finance and HR person, and that wouldn't be until next year though.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right. Any other selectmen items?
NLRA.
Uh,
Oh, I thought we did it.
No, the NLRA is willing to work I think this began with one of
Yes.
our observers from the end of the lake road. And the NLRA had gone down and said they would look at considering getting money and trying to do some kind of a stormwater arrangement behind the club, is not taking beach into parking lot space, so as a starting point. And that's probably not everything that we talked about, but that's all I got,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
But that came from, again, a similar complaint to those that we had before.
They are definitely going to try to get all of the stakeholders together, which isn't just us, it's the state as well. So,
Yeah. All right. Any public comment? No? Okay.
you had one more thing on your list,
I did?
the email.
Oh, yes, thank you. It is on my list. I skipped over it.
It's in it's in your folders, by the way, if anybody wants to look at it. It says select board item.
Hemp Hill
It's
Road.
at the very bottom.
Oh,
So-
yes, I did see that.
Yeah.
I did talk to Mark, but,
Yeah, I did briefly this afternoon. It's actually a really interesting situation. Hemp Hill Road is a designated scenic road, which does restrict what the town can do there without a public hearing.
Oh, yeah.
But it does, near as I can read, and I did go back and reread it, it does not restrict general maintenance. You can do your grading anytime you need to. And so the
Can't pave,
right,
yeah.
right. So the gentleman's concern is that the maintenance that's been done to the road over the last couple of years has actually encroached on the banks. Now, Mark says
That's what I wrote down.
we redid the banks because we haven't redone the banks. So in other words, now
It's back to where it should be.
it's back to where it should be, and actually it's helping the road because it's carrying more water, because it's not just the slope of the road running into the dugout bank. It's an actual grade in and a grade out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but the gentleman's concern is that the work that's been done up there has made the road too good, and now there's a lot of extra traffic and speeding. Now, interestingly enough, he talks, as you read it, he talks about, because the town owns the Conservation Commission, the town owns the conservation easement on the property. The Conservation Commission holds
and the society.
the society as a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the town actually has some responsibility to enforce that easement, which he has been spending money to make sure that easement is back in compliance, as the previous owner did as well. So-
He was claiming the dings to the trees to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that happens all the time. Interestingly enough, scenic roads are a really weird situation. The town is handicapped, the utilities are handicapped. Landowner can do whatever they want, and if I was starting a logging job in there and I needed to cut those trees along the side of the road to get in, I can do that without a hearing, without anything. The landowner can do that.
Utility company has to come to the planning board to
Yeah.
even trim the lines or put in new poles.
They can do emergency
Yeah.
rehab
And the
after.
town can't pave without going to the planning board.
Right.
Although I don't know if I agree with the statement that I'm sure the intent of the conservation easement was to preserve the character of my property and the neighborhood/road. I don't think that's true, but I'd have to reread it.
It's really interestingly, it's one of the oldest conservation
Yeah.
easements in the
Yeah.
state.
Yes,
Is
yeah.
this the one, so if you go past the radio tower on the right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the old farm.
The radio
Yeah.
towers on the right is the right of way on his property.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
With the big barn.
Yeah. So it's just I told him I would bring it up, but that another board would have to deal with it if there was any.
The conservation easement, interestingly, he needs to speak with the Conservation Commission about, which he's an alternate on.
member of.
So he would have to step away, but I think that might be a good thing to schedule him to come in and speak with them
Yeah.
about it more.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. Just it struck me as rather interesting because it's usually the other way around. You're not doing enough on my road.
Could we mention it to the police chief, or did you?
We could certainly do that.
Yeah.
We've had a few other complaints, so we have mentioned it before to the police chief. Part of this, that's the road that's closed to local traffic. It's
Yeah.
a cut through and people are using it, so.
Only closed to local traffic because of mud season,
Because
not
of mud
during the
season,
year.
yes, sorry,
Yeah.
but the,
Closed to local traffic only.
I'm not clear that the speeding hasn't been, because it's been going on longer than that though, because when I worked downstairs, I was getting complaints from a homeowner who had a dog
Yeah.
on that road, and she wanted a sign put up.
Yeah.
And I think we did lower the speed limit. And put a
I'm
sign
pretty
up.
sure I caught somebody up there trying to dump their septic tank. They were pulled off to the side. And when I pulled up to ask him if he needed any help, he was all pissy with me. This was like 2 summers ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And I made sure I got out and walked around, see if I could smell anything. Because I've seen it, they did it up past my house one year.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
What did they pump it into?
Just on the ground.
just like a
Like
camper.
a-
No,
like a
but they like,
There's a tank that a camper.
Oh, it's a
they use to
camper.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like somebody pumped their whole.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry.
Blue
No,
tank.
it was an RV.
It doesn't really cost that much to go to the,
Yeah, I know.
to Bristol. Bristol
Yeah.
takes them.
So anyways, and it's an interesting, historic part of town too, so.
Okay,
So that road is all in Bristol, but the Alexandria line runs along one side of it
One
for a
side,
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sharp corner
Yeah.
with the rocks.
yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Okay, that is all I had. Thank you. So I will entertain a motion to go into non-public session under New Hampshire RSA 91A3, 2A and C.
So,
A second.
Moved by Rob, seconded by Scott. Roll call vote, Scott.
Aye.
Rob?
Hi, Carol.
Sorry. Sean, aye.
Aye.
Les? Aye. Okay.